You might want to see Dogfucker sometime.
Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 146 for May the 7th, 2018. 2 shows in 2 days. You can get in contact with us at Cosmicgodsdie at gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter Swine Bros 666. I am your much more awake host, Elliot Lindemood, and my co-host is...
I am the Jim, and Elliot is a pussy.
Yeah, whatever. For those of you who watched last night, yes, I was an idiot, and I'm sorry for that. But my friends did nothing but bitch at me the entire day because of that. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
2 shows in 2 days, and yesterday's show did sort of bleed into today. So we're on a roll here.
Mm-hmm.
As I finally have the latest trance metal album. They're a death thrash metal band from Mexico. And it took me over a year to finally track it down, but I finally got the album, and it is amazing.
That's good. I heard them; they were decent.
Quite, yeah. I mean, they were better in their old, in '88, but they're still pretty good.
I'll have to really give them a more serious listen.
Yes, you will, under penalty of torture.
No. Under penalty of torturing you. Yes.
Wait, so if you don't listen to it, you get a torture? That's not how it works here.
Everything works the way I want it. It doesn't work any other way.
That's it. Civil War time.
Exactly. Well, talking about a civil war here. Mm-hmm. Dimmu Borgir is racist. Stormblast review. This is the reissue by the look of it, not the original from the 80s.
Well, they re-recorded it, so I'm not sure. The original version was a lot more raw. The re-recording version was more polished, and the keyboard parts were slightly different. But the ironic thing is, Stormblast is like one of the few Dimmu albums I actually like. The first 3 I like. After that, they sort of went different.
Metallius, extreme heavy metal reviews. I wonder if this is going to be satire or if this is legit.
From what I can see, it's legit.
Dimmu Borgir is a racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, homophobic, and bigoted white supremacist band.
Oh, yeah. Which is why they sell at Walmart.
Exactly what I was about to say. In fact, that's going to be the fucking pick that's going to go in the fucking video is on sale at Walmart.
Yes, you could buy the new album at Walmart, and apparently Nuclear Blast has said if you can't see it in the store, ask for it, and we will be reviewing that album one day. I finally have headphones that work in 2 ears, so we can actually review records again.
Yay.
It's always good to hear both sides.
Yeah, I know. I've had that happen back in the day whenever I had a tape. And like I only had one speaker and I only play like one side. And it was like you didn't hear the full duet. You only hear one solo off a Slayer album, but then like you wouldn't hear the other solo because, they did that.
For the last couple months, what I had to do is if I had to review an album, I had to basically... Because these are sort of not fancy headphones, but they have the little button that you press to stop, like on your iPod. And the only way you could hold it down, and the only way you could listen to both ears is by basically holding it down. So I had my teeth clenched the entire time, and I sounded like this.
Of course, so-called hipster racist black metal fans. They're called nipsters.
Black metal fans. I remember reading that and I lost my shit.
I know. Won't go to great lengths to deny their genre is racist.
Hipsters are the ones saying it's racist and that we should get out the old black metal, man, and only listen to fucking Death Heaven.
Oh, God, no. Fucking Tremolo picked Savage Garden. No.
Yes, well, I had to review their latest album today, so.
I pity you. Almost.
Good enough.
I'm actually glad when they tried to deny the inherent racism and anti-Semitism of their genre. This is based off the genre, not the album. The band is sold at Walmart.
Granted, some bands are racist, as I've talked about them a lot. Dark Fury and need I go
Yeah,
on? But not every band is. I mean, you'll find
a
even left
shit ton are not, and you'll find a few that are left leaning.
and many that are just apolitical.
Mm-hmm. That's the huge glut of them. Apolitical. Fuck off. We're just gonna shit on everything.
And what you'll find here, not to spoil the story, what you'll find here is a lot of bands made really extreme statements in the 90s when they were young kids
Mm-hmm.
because they were teenagers trying to carve out some sort of social identity for themselves in a relatively conservative, sort of stable country. So, what are you going to do? You can't really take on the system unless you basically uh, oppose everything the system stands for. And one of the things the system, and it's really easy to go from that to racism.
Because it casts more light on the hypocrisy of racist black metal fans and the uncomfortably cozy and common relationship between fascist thinking and metal music.
I
Why
hate
is
cans. Sorry.
why is that a thing?
I I found this completely randomly. I was actually searching for a quote that Shagrath made to the effect that they don't consider themselves a black metal band anymore. I couldn't find this quote, which I don't consider them a black metal band. Not just because I don't like them, but just because they've moved so far beyond like black metal into just ooh. Uh, but I found this instead.
Fuck. I already exposed the racism and anti-Semitism of Dark Throne,
Okay, wait.
Summer of the Diabolical Holocaust.
Okay, wait. Okay, Dark Throne. The racism and anti-Semitism has to do with interviews when Fenris was really young and really angry about certain things, and
Yeah,
he
but
did this. What?
he's posting a song here called Summer of the Diabolical Holocaust.
Which is a great song. Well,
Mayhem.
because the no, I just want because the post about Dark Throne does go into Fenris's comments, and I just like to clear it up. He did say that Dark Throne were fascist in outlook, and he did say that people who um, don't understand the record shouldn't review it because it sheds lights on their obvious Jewish behavior. But I also have to remind people that Fenris was at best 21 when he made these statements. This was 24 years ago, and he regrets it, and he admits that he was basically a moron.
Yeah, but go after the sin always. You can never repent.
Yes, and
You
the
know,
thing is,
at least Christians give you a chance of repentance. These
yep.
fuckers.
Well, some sects, but the funny thing is, Fenders went from like hardcore liberal to like really hardcore conservative, and now he did get elected in his city council, but that was more of a joke than anything else. He posted a picture with his cat and said, "Don't vote for me," which of course I commented, "Fender's cat for president."
There we go. Mayhem. We don't like black people here.
That's a little bit more because I think Hellhammer really was. I don't know if he still is. He's gone back on it, but he did have a white power sticker on his drum set.
Burzum. I play white European music.
I'm not even gonna argue with that because that's actually
Yeah.
when he got right. I like Burzum, but yeah.
Gorgoroth. Anti-racist is a code word for anti-white.
Gorgoroth is an interesting case because Fenris and some of the other people from Gorgoroth were once again the early 90s black metal. You had to be as extreme as possible, and that sort of extremity could easily be translated into racism, right? And I think you'll find most people, except for maybe Vicar, has look at it and say, "Wow, we were stupid."
There are many others, of course, such as the pro-Palestinian anti-Semites of Satyricon.
I don't know anything about that.
The homophobic bigots of Emperor.
Oh, just because the guy killed a gay man and he regrets it. Really? Just no, fuck off.
Yeah. The anti-Semitic neo-Nazis of Immortal.
When has Immortal ever said anything about being a neo-Nazi? That is fantastic. They have never written anything about being a Nazi. Their lyrics are all about winter and demons and winter demons.
Yeah, that's something that might be like, just fuck.
Oh no,
That's something that makes me think this may be satire, but then again, we have seen so much.
I don't know. I don't want to know, to be honest. I guess they I mean, at best I could think. Well, Abath was in a band with Varg Vikernes in '91, so that guild by association, I guess.
Maybe.
Or maybe he made some extreme statements.
The racial terrorists of Antichrist.
This is a band I don't know anything about, and I want to know more about them.
Yes, thank you now. And Dimmu Borgir.
Oh boy, I'm shaking.
No matter how many times I expose black metal artists for the bigots and racists they are, hypocritical black metal fans will scream, not all black metal bands are like that, and it's their freedom of speech to promote fascism and white supremacy.
Well, yeah, it sort of is. I mean, regardless of whether I agree with it or not. I mean, do I go out like vegan hunting and go, you vegans shouldn't be able to talk about your veganism? No, I don't agree with veganism.
They
But
annoy the piss out of me, and I want them dead because they annoy me, but I don't give a shit if they say they're shit.
yes, but I do want them dead. Mostly because, I mean, the vegetarians I can put up with, but let's put it this way: you don't cross over into veganism without being an asshole.
Hate speech is not free speech. Hate speech is racial abuse.
Racial abuse needs to be the name of a band. We're racial abuse. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dimmu Borgir is often seen as the poster child of non-racist black metal.
They're the poster child of shite metal, but I don't know about non-racist black metal.
It's the band racist black metal fans point to when they want plausible deniability.
It's actually a lot of the band that people point to saying, we need more church burnings.
Yeah, more church burnings. Black metal fans are bigots and hypocrites. They will constantly draw straw men and move the goalposts to further their agenda. First, they
Well,
start.
that's true. I'm a bigot, which is why I'm dating a pure white Aryan woman.
Yeah. First, they start by claiming that black metal isn't racist. Then, when confronted with the massive amounts of contradictory evidence, will say that most black metal isn't racist.
Well, how can a genre be inherently racist? I mean, that would be like saying punk is anarchic. You can, I've plenty of punks who don't.
Punk is racist. I've heard, are
Screwdriver.
yeah.
But I mean, how can a genre be inherently racist? And of course, most black metal bands aren't racist just by dint of how many black metal bands there are.
Mm-hmm.
We live in the 2010s. I mean, there are probably thousands upon thousands of shitty one man bedroom black metal bands.
Mm-hmm. Not all black metal is racist. And finally, look at this ultra underground metal band that only ever released one demo. You can't prove that they are racist. God.
That is true. I mean, well, I guess you could, but who cares?
Non-racist black metal, there's no such thing.
Okay, so Wolves in the Throne Room, a band I despise, but they're left-leaning black metal band. They're racist.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Dimmu Borgir was founded by vocalist Shagrath and guitarist Selena's. I'm butchering names already,
Yes, I know. I'm just watching you.
but we'll get back to them later. From 2005 to 2007, the drummer for Dimmu Borgir was none other than Hellhammer, also the racist black metal band Mayhem.
Hellhammer has been in so many bands. I, I'm pretty sure Hellhammer did a stint in fucking Swine Brothers. That's how many bands he's been in.
Probably.
I mean, seriously, he's been in a lot of bands. And like I said, okay, he had a white power sticker in his drums in 1991. That doesn't mean I mean, people can go back on their beliefs.
No, you cannot, because everything has to be doubled down. You can't change your mind ever.
Yes, which is why
Which is why they keep arguing you should change your mind and be more open-minded. But if you can't, but if by their own actions it dictates you can't change your mind, then why the hell do they even bother changing minds?
which is why I'm still exactly how I am from the time I was like 2.
Uh-huh. Yay! Now, what is
Yeah.
Hellhammer most known for?
Playing really good drums.
The black metal biography, Black Metal Blasphemy, A History of Third Wave Black Metal, quotes him as saying, I'll put it this way, we don't like black people here. Black metal is for white people. I'm pretty convinced that there are differences between races as well as everything else.
So you're quoting apparently a very obscure book that I've never heard of. Third wave black metal. I don't know when the second wave ended. That quote was also in Lords of Chaos, by the way,
Uh-huh.
which is a book I've actually read.
In the documentary Until the Light Takes Us, he even defends the homophobic murder of gay men. I honor Faust for killing a fucking faggot.
Which, once again, is that what he really believes, or is that part of the old I have to be extreme because black metal is extreme type thing?
Yeah.
I mean, part of what I mean, you'll see bands like Catatonia, who are now a bunch of goth rock sissies, in the early '90s made like really extreme statements. The band Samael, which is now like a weird intellectual industrial rock band, had an interview where they's like, "Of course, I'd like to torture some fucking innocent children."
But Hellhammer is far from the only band member of Dimmu Borgir to advocate murder and hate crimes.
I advocate murder, not hate crimes, but then again, what is a hate crime? As opposed to one of those I really like you crimes.
I mean, I like specieside. Just wipe out the human species in its entirety. I want to
Yay!
go last, so that way I'm certain that the deed is done.
And that's why I'm marketing My Little Panzer.
Uh-huh. This is what Shargrath, the vocalist, wrote about minorities and people of color. Do you agree with me that black metal should be for white people? Yes, I do, and I would gladly cut the throat of every black person in the world.
Which
Kill
is
the Aryan race.
you could tell that was written by a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, that just bleeds teenage. That was written in the early '90s. I don't even fucking much like Shagrath or Dimmu, but I have to just point out that this was written in like early '90s when they were like little kids. And you've never said anything shocking when you were a little kid. It's just that you didn't have, a band together so that nobody paid attention to you.
Shawgroth is far from the only one in the black metal movement to have expressed such hateful and nauseating sentiments, although he might be the only one to have managed to misspell Aryan.
Well,
No. There have been many.
Norwegian black metal interviews, especially the ones in English, were filled with spelling errors. I think it's and grammatical errors, which only makes them better. I am the evilest black metal motherfucker ever. Just the way they write is just awesome.
Selenos has also echoed similar hateful bigotry in many of his earlier interviews. This is literally advocating for racially motivated murder. MURDER, happiness, just murder
Well, like I
everything.
said, these are really early interviews when the band was trying to establish a name for himself, and the trend in black metal at the time was to be as utterly shocking as possible. So, what's more shocking than saying something really stupid like that?
This is literally advocating for racially motivated murder, which has already happened more than once in the black metal scene, along with murder for any other reason, and church arson.
Like the fact that Euronymous was trying to kill Varg, and so Varg sort of did it to him.
Yeah. He must have really no clue that violence, real systemic violence, against gays and black people and ethnic minorities is actually a real thing worldwide. I
Okay.
think that was the entire point of saying something so shocking for shock value.
Yes. I just want to look something up really quick. You can keep reading. I'm just going to look up. I'm going to look up how old they were when they started the band
Mm-hmm.
because. Oh, come on.
Or
This
perhaps he
there's a
does
month.
have a clue. Dimmu Borgir also released their debut album For All Tid through No Colors,
Great
which
band, which is a great label. Okay. Okay. Shagrath was born in 1976, meaning he's as old as you. So he was at best 17 whenever the band founded, and he was already in a band before that. When I was 17, 18, I was making the most idiotic statements I could remember. I look back at those and cringe. And
and you
seven
see
on
what I'm going to do is I'm going to design the last boss of this video game to have 9 heads, and it's called Hydrax, and it'll have 9 heads, 9 heads, 9 heads, over
and
and over and over and over again. And then I think I told everyone about every single plot element and battle strategy in Final Fantasy VI, which was known as Final Fantasy III back then,
yes.
over the course of an entire summer, in which Jeff told me, dude, just don't do that again. God, I don't have to play the game. I know everything about it, every single mechanic, everything.
And silent and by the way, he was born in November 76, and his friend was born in 77. So let's say they were 16 when they started the band. Okay, and they were 16, 17 when they were doing interviews in magazines, probably not knowing or caring that this band would actually be something because when they were releasing their first crappy album on No Colors, they had no way of knowing that they would actually sustain a career, that people actually wanted to hear them.
Uh-huh.
It was literally just, oh yeah, let's make let's make these albums. And by the way, No Colors deals with NS bands and completely non-NS bands. They've had Nargaroth, and they've had other bands. Of course, if he's saying that all bands are NS, then that's something else.
Uh-huh.
Which I think that's what he's
Yeah,
saying. And good God,
the No Colors, which often releases music by neo-Nazi white supremacist bands, Absurd, Graveland.
yes, and both are great.
When we understand that all black metal is racist, it is an inherent component of the genre. They're sold at Walmart.
So, um, okay, fine. Blasphemy. There's a band called Blasphemy. They have a
Uh-huh.
black guitarist. Did you know they're racist?
Yeah, they are.
Uh, Mystifier, who I believe is an all black Brazilian black metal band, racist.
Yep. But no matter how many bands I expose as being more or less overtly racist, anti Semitic, and blatantly fascist, there will always be a hypocritical black metal fan to point at some other band and say, these guys aren't racist, like Elliot just did. Because these black people are not inherently racist
And as
against
Blasphemy said,
black people, at least.
and as Jerry from Blasphemy said, our guitarist could fucking deck anyone who says otherwise.
Good. Yes, they are racist. People listening to racist black metal are just as guilty as those playing a type of music that advocates hate crimes and bigotry. Stormblast score 0 out of 10, mentioning nothing, zero about the music.
Nothing actually about the music, just all about the ideology. I have a feeling this guy tried to get his review on Metal Archives, but for all the shit Metal Archives gets, and it's mainly butthurt fans who don't like the fact that he said something mean about this band that I like. They actually have you say something actually about the music rather than just the ideology.
Mm-hmm.
I love it whenever I ask why do you hate Metal Archives reviews, and most of the time it's they gave my band that I like 0%. Oh no.
Well, from Metal Injection, we have a symptom of people crying everything is racist. Native American brothers with metal t-shirts taken off college campus by police.
Yes.
Brothers Thomas Gary, I can't pronounce that middle name, and Lloyd Gary, another middle name I'm not going to attempt because I will fucking piss them off really bad attempting.
See, isn't it great that my Indian friend's name is with the very Indian name Jenny Elizabeth Thompson?
Yeah, there we go.
That's an Indian name for you.
19 and 17, drove 7 hours from Santa Cruz, New Mexico to tour the campus of Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado, only to be taken off the tour by cops. The brothers are of the Mohawk tribe of Native Americans and were wearing t-shirts from Cattle Decapitation
Lame.
and Archspire.
Lame.
Isn't Cattle Decapitation also like leftist?
They're all vegan. Well, Travis Ryan's a vegan. I don't know, but I think the other, or at least vegetarian. I think the other guys eat meat, but yeah, they're leftists. They're musically they're really boring. They're sort of technical grindcore that everyone likes because oh my god, it's so technical, but I don't think they have any musical depth to it. Archspire is a technical death metal band that once again puts more emphasis on how fast they can play the drums than like how well they can construct a song. And I
That's
have
the problem with a lot of tech death. You very seldom hear any that's good.
the funny thing is Travis Ryan said that he's the singer from Cattle Decapitation said that no death metal after 1995 that has been released has been any good or that's been relevant. The funny thing, Travis, is his band's formed in after '95, basically saying his band's been irrelevant. I actually do like the first album. I just can't stand that guy. He's a dick.
When they embarked on the campus tour, the New York Times says a woman called police saying that the brothers were definitely not part of the tour, that their clothing represented dark stuff, and that they were lying to her with fake names and what they wanted to study. You realize I wore a Eaten Back to Life t-shirt when I toured my college campus, and
Let's see.
that's probably worse.
I'm gonna have some fun here.
Mm.
Cattle Decapitation's lyrical themes: misanthropy, gore, revenge, and animal supremacy. Those are the cattle that's dark, apparently. Or
Yeah.
inspire. Their lyrical themes consist of. Okay, it's a lot faster than it used to be. Let's see. Or inspire. They're from Canada. Misanthropy, science fiction, and alien invasions. Oh, God help us from alien invasions. Dark stuff, man. You know, like Satan and.
She added in the 911 call that it's probably nothing, and if it's nothing, I'm sorry, but it actually made me feel sick, and I've never felt like that because I'm a complete pussy that's never seen metalheads before. Even though they're listening to bands that apparently suck,
I mean,
they're still listening.
It's a lot better than I'd rather listen to both those bands than say Pantera or Skin Lab.
I don't know. Pantera's got some okay shit in my book. Oh God, not Machine Head. No.
Yeah, but if you think Machine Head's bad, Skin Lab is a poor man's Machine Head.
Oh God, no. You're gonna torture with me later. No.
Well, I only know that because the it, the singer was in a great thrash band or a good thrash band called Defiance before grooving the fuck out.
The brothers were taken off the tour when their group was going through one of the college's gymnasiums. When the brothers attempted to join the tour had already moved on without them. Admissions told them they could not complete their tour, and the two brothers drove all the way back home. That would fucking piss me off. I wouldn't want to give them my money at all.
No, I would not want to go to that college.
Colorado State University, people should just abandon it quick.
Yeah.
President of Colorado State University, Dr. Tony Frank, released a lengthy statement regarding the incident and offers ways this could be prevented in the future. Two young men, through no fault of their own, wound up frightened and humiliated because another campus visitor was concerned about their clothes and overall demeanor, which appears to have simply been shyness. The very idea that anyone might look like they don't belong on a CSU admissions tour is anathema.
Well, from what I know about sort of the Colorado, I don't know if it's near Columbine, but a lot of people who go to Columbine go to that and Columbine is a school for rich kids. It's a very rich kid in evangelical school. One of the a linebacker after the Columbine shooting said, "Well, of course we made fun of these kids. They were into witchcraft and voodoo dolls. So we just called them gay." And so that's the attitude of these people. So you get people looking different and
oh my God. People of all races, gender identities, orientations, cultures, religions, heritages, and appearances belong here.
Even Gigi Allen?
That would be great. As long as you want to earn a great education surrounded by people with the same goal who come from every part of our state, our country, and our world, then you belong here. And if you're uncomfortable with a diverse and inclusive academic environment, then you probably have a better fit elsewhere.
Yeah.
The Gary brothers' mother, Lorraine Gary, told the Washington Post that she finds it ridiculous that someone was suspicious of her sons because they were too quiet, and adds they were trying to listen. Why should it be a crime to listen and not engage in conversation? She also tells Denver 10 that she feels the situation stems from some biased person judging my boys on how they looked.
Which, in a way, I'm glad metal still has the ability to strike fear into people.
That's good. That's at least one good thing.
Yes.
Cattle Decapitation has posted the story on their Facebook and tagged the two brothers, offering them free guest list spots for their show for life. At least
that's pretty
if you
good.
like the band, go for it.
I mean, I still think Travis Ryan's a complete fucking dickhead, but hey.
Thomas Gary has since commented on the post saying the following: "Thank you everyone for the support. We love everyone. It's really hard to come up with a proper reaction to everyone's help. It's very overwhelming, but nonetheless, I hope this teaches a lesson to everyone that is going through any sort of discrimination or racial bias."
Yeah, I want to be on a guest list for life.
Keep yourself going. What happened was wrong. In so many ways, and we wish this on no one else.
But if you get to be on a guest list for life, I mean, something.
Why, yes, it is.
But I mean, in reality, the judgmental people who need to.
Yeah, they were judging the T-shirts.
Crucified.
Oh my God!
And they're too quiet. It's funny because I have a friend from Finland who, if she says 5 words, that's a good day. It's not because she's like menacing. She's just very reserved and chooses her words carefully. I mean, she may say 5 words, but they're the most important 5 words you'll hear that day. But she's not me. She would not be good at hosting a show because she's very sort of silent by nature.
Let us go on to Communist Sympathizer Supreme at Metal Sucks.
Oh boy.
Editorial. Of course black metal is racist. It's evil. Oh, please tell me that this is an awakening, that they finally realize evil is evil, you
Don
know?
Nodred from Dissection would disagree because he identified as evil, and he said simple racism was nothing but herd mentality for idiots to consider themselves superior by doing nothing in their lives.
Exactly.
We
I
we,
could
we,
actually get behind that statement.
we need more people like him in this world. Too bad he died.
2018 has been a bad year for black metal's image. Or has it been a good
Or
year?
it's been a good year, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Only months after the long anticipated Lords of Chaos movie finally premiered, multiple black metal bands have had their questionable pasts come back to bite them in their asses.
I've seen nothing else about that movie except for a review when it first premiered, but I've seen nothing about like DVD releases or whatever. I'll probably download it just for the hell of it. You'll get some review here,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Most notable are Atake, whose North American tour was canceled after Antifa protesters became enraged about frontman Hoest performing with swastika painted on his chest in 2007. He's
Wow.
also Islamophobic. Signed
Yes.
Ed.
3 weeds from the same root.
Mm-hmm. Marduk, two members of whom were recently revealed as having bought a bunch of Nazi propaganda. So did Lemmy.
Really didn't help. Which really didn't hurt Marduk. I mean, they're releasing a new album. They're still on their record label, and their new song sounds amazing.
Good. And Swedish heavyweights Watain, who had a band photo leaked featuring guitarist Dave Taten Totaro throwing the Sieg Heil, while the rest of the band looked, well, not that upset about it. Boo
Well,
hoo.
yeah, because they don't care. Big deal.
This has caused a sudden re examination of black metal's shady past by record labels, supporters, and think piece writers. Dimmu Borgir, Walmart band.
Think piece writers, yes, because even Metal Sucks have finally started to admit that they don't actually hold any sway. Like Shane Mathis actually admitted to me, well, and yeah, you think we really have any sway? I'm like, oh wow, you finally fucking figured that out now.
Mm-hmm. Everyone seems astounded that black metal, no longer an underground cesspool, but that's when it was cool,
Yeah,
but one of heavy metal's most load-bearing subgenres, could still be so full of bigotry. And most of the shit that gets brought up is like 20 years old.
and every genre is full of bigotry. You could probably find racist death metal bands, racist thrash metal bands, and God forbid racist hip hop and rap bands. I mean, if you want a den of racism and sexism, check out the rap scene. I mean, honestly, I I'm astounded by people who give black metal instead. What about rap? I mean, every song is about slapping my hoe and raping my bitch, and
I don't know. To which you've got to ask, what world have you been living in?
the real world.
Black metal wasn't birthed by people having nuanced conversations about the holistic tradition of old faiths.
Nobody said it was except for you, Axel, or Vince, or whoever the fuck wrote this piece of shit.
Emperor Rhombus.
Oh, whatever.
Black metal was formed to be evil for evil's sake. Yes, it was. Your point?
Yeah, it was formed because they saw death metal bands which have an extreme sound playing shows for disco kids. They saw it came a little bit later, but I'll include this just because I think it's sort of a sign of the times. Cannibal Corpse and Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
They saw things like that and went, well, clearly this is a sign, which was a little bit was a little bit premature. It wasn't really a sign that death metal had been tamed, but it was a sign that the mainstream was flirting with death metal, and in Europe it was a little bit bigger than America. You know, you had Earache Records video, you had Morbid Angel on MTV, and Euronymous didn't like that. Euronymous, he didn't want everything to stay underground, but he didn't want to be on MTV.
Uh-huh. Its pioneers were teenagers responding to a cut and dry concept of Christianity with a cut and dry concept of evil.
Which later got more intellectual with the anti-cosmic Satanism, which is an actual codified belief system and not just fuck, kill the Christian. I mean, it's like I said, I love Venom, and as much as I like Evil in League with Satan, kill the nuns or whatever, there's also room for intellectual exercise in that debate.
And for those kids who grew up with a short train ride from where the Holocaust happened, there was no greater evil than the Third Reich. Yeah, that's because it was actually banned in countries to do anything about it. What do you think hate speech laws are?
It's not always it's not just that it was banned, it's also because Norway experienced it firsthand. So how do you strike a blow to your parents? You identify with what they hated. Why do you think Varg Vikernes is celebrated his fucking ancestry to Quisling? Because he's known in Norway as a traitor, and Vikernes doesn't like this capitalistic system. So what better way to, I guess, distance himself from that than to go, hey, guess who I'm related to?
Yay. So, of course, there's a racism problem. Who says it's a problem unless they're actually doing shit like they used to? Of course, most of the truest people in the genre's history are really into the Nazis. It's certainly fucked up, says you.
Like I said, it would be okay. So, how do I put this into American context? It would be like, let's say you're a Northerner after the Civil War. You're a Northern youth, okay, after the Civil War, and so what you do is, well, fucking identify with the Confederacy, man.
Or
And that's gonna piss off.
If you're a Native American, you sit there and you do everything like Columbusian shit.
Basically, it's a way to piss off your parents.
Yeah. But it's 1000% not a surprise. Before you start with a bunch of not all black metal fans bullshit, Will, we just got done reading this.
Yes.
Understand that I'm not saying that you have to be racist to play black metal. Aww.
Well, that's at least
better than the other guy that says you have to be.
Yes, you're now about 1% more intelligent. Granted, that's not much.
Or that by playing black metal, you automatically become racist. Well, yeah, you're really working on that 1% more intelligent than the last dude we.
Yes, I screamed Satan, and all of a sudden I felt the need to kill all minorities. Yeah.
Or any of these obvious incendiary reactions. Black metal has evolved as a genre enough that we can safely say you don't need to subscribe to some pro-Europe Facebook feed to be a good black metal musician.
I subscribe to pro-Europe Facebook feeds and fucking have Nazi friends just because I think they're hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm in RAC and NSBM groups that get shut down constantly. And I read a blog post about Ian Stewart that was really fucking verbose because I have to prove that I'm like intelligent.
Yay! I love it when they try to use words they barely comprehend.
Yeah, right. Why? I mean, yeah. You see, fucking football hooligans trying to like shed the hooliganism and actually, well, the archetypes and
What
archetypes
I
and
loved was,
archetypes.
you know, but thyself wants you to come to
Yeah.
thyself. Wait, do you realize that thyself means yourself? Thy is the proper I know this person version of you. So you're
Yes.
saying yourself, but you're using it as myself. And on top of it, that's completely
What?
improper. Myself wants you to come to myself, even taking it your way. It's like, what?
And they love the word archetypes. They love using that word.
Uh-huh. This isn't an out for those musicians who have gotten caught in the crossfire. These guys deserve all the criticism and Antifa coming their way. No, they don't.
No, Antifa
That's,
deserves all the criticism and Antifa coming their way.
uh, one of these days, I'll just get a chainsaw wielding mob. Say, oh, you want to fuck shit up? Fine, I'll show you how to fuck shit up.
Oh God!
Just take out the limbs. Let them live.
Yes.
I'm loving watching this, and I'm disgusted by their whining. You're not allowed to talk about making metal dangerous again and then play victim when your show gets canceled.
And you're not whining because all you do is whine on this fucking website.
Yeah, I know.
All you do is, metal's mean to me.
Your whole thing is about being controversial, right? So man up. Good. Chainsaw
That is
wielding dead.
something I okay. That is something I agree with. Make metal dangerous again, and then they complained about having their show being canceled. Whereas I would be like, "Hey guys, our show's been canceled because people are too chicken shit."
Yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
exactly.
I mean, that is something I. Oh my god, I actually agree with metal. Okay, that's it. I'm dead.
If you're big enough to court an identity that flirts with gross race politics, like this website, you just take the complete opposite angle, but it's still gross race politics.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're big enough to brush off getting canceled out in the press, called out in the press.
And one of these
Well, yeah,
days,
you should be.
one of
And you
these
should tell
days,
people to fuck off more.
one of these days, North Korea or Russia will nuke us, and all your identity politics will mean nothing as you're reduced to a pile of screaming char.
Now, I want people in a pile of screaming char, period. I don't
this
hear the reason. I just want to see it.
this show is great misanthropy feel. Like you read enough articles on this show, and just it just takes it out of you.
But what's exhausting is the pearl clutching, the outrage, the metalheads who own t-shirts with WW2, photographs of German panzer tanks crushing human skulls.
Oh, I want that. I want it. I want it. Someone buy it for me.
Suddenly freaking out when they discover their favorite band was serious about it the whole time. Who said they were
But
freaking?
Slayer had Slayer. I bought a Slayer shirt with a World War II Army helmet. Fucking and everyone knows Tom Araya's fucking white guy, right? And Dave Lombardo. Yeah, pure Aryan right there.
Oh, I just love the fact that I got the fucking Megadeth t-shirt with the Iron Eagle on it.
I want to know where I can
No,
find it.
sorry, Slayer t-shirt. I'm being
Yeah,
moronic.
yeah. I don't think Megadeth wouldn't. I want to
I
know.
looked over, saw a Megadeth t-shirt, but the Slayer t-shirt's right behind it.
I want to know where you can
My
find a
brain.
shirt with a panzer crushing a
I
person's
want
skull.
that. The
I want a
problem
panzer.
starts when you begin quantifying the definition of political. Well, that's all this site does is quantify the definition of political.
I mean, I use that in a fucking thing. I'm not a racist, but I actually have a couple Panzer tanks right there. Models of tanks
Ah, yes.
with their cannons pointed up to the ceiling. And someone asked, "Why do you have Why do you have their cannons pointed up to the ceiling?" Because they want to shoot God.
NSBM record store on Long Island shut down.
Yes, I found this literally just now.
This is unsettling, especially given how close to home this hits. A group of jackasses recently tried to set up a record store specializing in NS metal, the Heretic's Crypt, in Patchogue, New York. I butchered that probably.
Yeah, probably.
According to the Huffington Post, the store attracted some attention in late April when its owners handed out flyers for a local death metal show, proclaiming themselves to be Long Island's most extreme brick and mortar record store in over a decade,
Cool.
specializing in underground metal and whatever else we feel like. Okay.
I want to go there.
The promotional bid worked. A pair of metal loving buddies made their way to the shop, no doubt overjoyed at the prospect of such a business opening in their area. When they got there, we started leafing through everything, and about a quarter of the way through the first box, it became apparent that the only thing they were selling there was National Socialist black metal, NSBM.
Cool. Let me buy some.
Said one of the two, who asked the HuffPost withhold their names for fear of harassment. Pussies.
Pussies.
Two pussies to attach your name to it.
And
My name is James Thompson.
My name is Elliot Lindemann.
Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Go ahead, try to steal my fucking name.
I live in Southern California. My name is Elliot Lindemann. Well, the thing is, it's easier to steal my name than yours. You have a very generic name. My name is sort of unique.
Yeah, but you see, stealing mine means you're going to get picked up by the feds real quick. So I'm still on watch list for shit I did 20 years ago. It's great. It's the best form of identity theft protection there is. In fact, I did some shady shit.
And you also died in the Oklahoma City bombing. What was that like?
I do not know. There were scatterings of bands that weren't associated, but the vast majority was the very sketchy Nazi-related stuff. You went through one bin. One.
And I'm not saying any band names.
Yeah. The albums included albums and merch items by National Socialist bands such as Hate Forest, Goat Moon, Grand Balal's Key, and Heathen Hammer.
Okay, I don't know two of those bands.
Also included a frickin' baby-sized T-shirt for NS group M8L8TH.
Oh, I love them. Okay, I don't know two of those bands, but I can tell you, Goat Moon, yeah, they are NSBM, but they're amazing. And Grand Belial's Key, I actually have the old singer on my friends list. He's now in a band called Crucifier. Really good band. And M8L, I don't know how to pronounce it. They're sort of black metal mixed with Nazi punk. Really good. A baby-sized T-shirt. That's fucking. I'm gonna get my fucking kid that.
Although these gentlemen were obviously hadn't realized it in advance of their visit, the Heretic's Crypt was partially set up by a man named Paul Goering, who is a former member of a National Socialist band called Grafvalot.
Ooh.
The owner of the label, Wolf Tier Productions, that has released 2 albums by the white supremacist band Wotan Orden. And the organizer of an NSBM show in nearby Ronkonkoma, LI. Some Goering still has the gall to deny having any ties to National Socialism, claiming that the imagery is meant to represent esoteric pagan ideologies, an argument which holds no water if you read the band's lyrics.
Well, yes and no. I mean, they are esoteric pagans. Well, some are. There are some Nazi Satanists and some Christians, although I sort of agree that I think to be a Christian and a Nazi is sort of a contradiction in terms, but hey.
Yeah. The two fans then went to James Skidmore, the president of the Greater Patchway Chamber of Commerce, who was understandably disturbed by their discovery. Fuck you.
Yeah, rather than just not visiting the shop, because how many people are going to visit the shop? 5, 6, 10?
Yeah. I mean, it may have died just because they didn't make enough money. Wow.
Well, yes, and you'd be surprised. Specialist record shops can often make more money than you think because there's nowhere else to get. I mean, if anyone
Yeah,
can
I know.
tell me where I could get an MATLATH whatever CD in LA, tell me. I'll frequent that place.
I think the whole point here is the fact that, yeah, let's point and laugh at the Nazis for, like, losing their shop, but they don't want to fucking point and laugh at them whenever they say something stupid and instead just go, la, 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 shut it down.
Yes, and I mean,
Because Nazis always say something stupid, and you mocking them is how you win. You shutting them down like this is how you lose, and they take over everything.
and how you gain support or how they gain support.
Mm-hmm.
Because hey, look, we're actually being discriminated against. Oh shit, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So they're going to get a lot more sympathy, and people are going to be listening to their dark whispers even more.
And you're going to be wondering, why? How come this keeps growing?
Because you're doing it.
Yes. So thank you for promoting. I've never seen an NSBM shop, although I have seen NSBM in places like Amoeba, and I remember buying it and thinking like, I hope no one notices.
Skidmore subsequently went to visit, concerned that it could get the conversation going with music or whatever else, and then out comes a KKK party or white nationalist movement. Um, you realize that shutting it down
Yeah,
is just going to like make that white nationalist movement pop up because we're being repressed. Okay, we're coming out now.
yeah, right. We're being repressed. Oh, really? You are? I mean, what's going to happen? Okay, the vast majority of people probably won't at first listen to them, but what it's going to do is it's going to get people who maybe have a few dark whispers and maybe have a few stupid beliefs to kind of go to the other side because wow, I didn't realize these guys are big. That's why Ian Stewart looked into Nazism because Screwdriver was accused of Nazis in 1977 when they started dressing up as skinheads. And Ian wanted to know why are these people so afraid of the National Front? What is what is it that is afraid of that's that the record executives in the newspaper are so afraid of? Wow, this speaks to me. And you got Ian Stewart as a Nazi.
Yep, the pushback is what creates Nazis. You're the
And
ones doing it. Metal Sucks is the #1 recruitment tool for Nazis everywhere.
yep, and the number one make black metal dangerous again promotional
Hmm.
tool
I like
because
that. I want it dangerous again.
yes, me too. So all hail metal sucks.
Luckily, when he arrived, he found that the owner of the Space Heretics crypt was renting had already taken action and sent them packing. Uh,
Well, now you're gonna get
Now you've just created where there was none, there is now one.
your
Because we're being repressed. The fucking landlord booted us out. And then this guy came down from the government to try to boot us out again. So now you've got nothing but a bunch of Nazis there now. I hope you enjoy because you created it. By booting them out, if you would just let them exist there, they would have faded out of existence like everything else does.
yep, but you're an idiot. So
Mm-hmm. That's reassuring to some extent. The fact that more Nazis are now going to come because this place was shut down and people are going to listen even more now because people like to find what is forbidden fruit. Oh,
yes,
wait, no. Especially since the incident has allegedly resulted in Goering getting out of metal for good. Goering lamented that he opened up the shop in the first place. He and another man who helped set up Heretic's Crypt, Buddy Zach Mayoka, deleted their Facebook pages after the outcry last week, and now Goering said his label is offline and he has no plans for any shows or other commercial enterprises.
They'll be back. They'll always be back.
I really wish we didn't do it at all, to tell you the truth. All the anger I've caused people, he said. Basically, my reputation is ruined because of this. Everything is stashed away in boxes and hefty bags. It's done. We can't keep up with this.
Basically, what he's saying is he's saying that to shut people up. More than likely, he'll be back. And also, you've just cost someone their business.
Despite this victory, the article notes that the area has an unfortunate history with this crap. For Skidmore, the shop scared up a lot of memories of Long Island's history of extremism. In the 1930s, Suffolk County was home to Camp Siegfried, a pro-Nazi summer camp adjacent to a German colony in Yaffank that named its streets after Hitler and Goebbels.
Oh, that's fantastic. I want to go to a pro-Nazi summer camp.
After the war, some of Hitler's relatives lived in Long Island. The Ku Klux Klan has always been active there.
Be a
And you're
man in
just
the
going
Ku
to
Klux
make them
Klan.
start springing up saying, what? You closed down an NSBM store? Boom. They're getting 10 times more active now. You guys fucked up.
Yeah, and I hope you like it.
Mm-hmm. Long Island native Chris Cantwell, a white nationalist nicknamed the Crying Nazi, for a video in which he teared up at the thought of being arrested for his role in the Charlottesville, Virginia mayhem, thought the area receptive enough to his views that he considered running for New York's first congressional district.
I saw that, and I thought that was a pussy move. I mean, Vic Kerner just smiled when he was found guilty. Just, yeah, okay, I'll go to prison.
He failed to get enough signatures in his bid. Most recently, Skidmore recalled, Ecuadorian immigrant was killed in 2008 in nearby Riverhead, where 4 teens admitted being part of a gang that targeted Hispanics for hate crimes.
Yeah, that is actually quite a bad thing.
Yeah, and you're just going to make that number grow now. Thanks a lot.
Yes, because and you publicized it. It's not even like if you want to get rid of someone, you do it quietly. You don't publicize it in the Huffington Post.
Mm-hmm.
And now because you've publicized it,
it's just going to make worse things happen. Thank you very much for having the neo-Nazis grow there. It's been a pleasure working with you, Metal Sucks.
Yes, and you're
so
gonna get
good recruiting those bastards.
and you're gonna get Nazis coming to Long Island to show their support for the store.
In other words, someone, be it Goering or another nitwit, will probably try to pull some shit like this again in the future. Yes, in mass.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's petitions on the Stormfront right now to set up more stores and crowdfund these things.
Thank you, Axel Rosenberg.
Yes, thank you, Axel Rosenberg. Hail to Axel.
Psychologists say there's no alternative to free speech.
Death to everyone?
Colleges and universities across the country are struggling with the question of who decides what is acceptable on speech on campus. When does a controversial topic become hate speech? When should it be allowed as free speech?
Always.
It should be allowed as free speech all the time. That way you poke out the idea, show people what's moronic about it, and sometimes even get a really good laugh because, fuck.
I don't understand why people think that's bad that I laugh at like Nazis. It's like, well, what else can I'm not going to get angry at them because what's to get angry about? They're hilarious. They're stupid.
That's the point you're supposed to be making, not saying, oh my God, they're going to take over, which is just...
I watched a documentary where a woman said something to the effect of like, she thinks that people of different races have different intelligence because like a cat has different intelligence than a dog. Keep in mind you're comparing skin color with species. It would be like saying a black dog has less intelligence than a white dog. And she was like, and we're gonna revive the Aryan race. I'm like, oh yeah, good luck with that. I mean, literally,
Ride the white race with your cousin.
I
Yeehaw!
wasn't, I wasn't thinking, ew, horrible. I was like, yeah, good luck with that.
Two Cornell researchers say psychological science's extensive study of bias offers an important lens through which these conflicts, as we strive to understand and reduce them. There is no alternative to free speech, say co-authors Stephen Sessi and Wendy Williams, and Who Decides What is Acceptable Speech on Campus, why restricting free speech is not the answer. Ah, good.
Sanity?
Yes. Their analysis appeared May 2nd in Perspectives in Psychological Science as the lead article in the issue. There is no alternative to free speech because every controversial topic has a substantial group of people who view it as hate speech. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Say the world is round. We found a group that finds that hateful.
Yes, say that. Yeah, exactly. Any sort of it could be as and it doesn't even have to be controversial. It could be as innocuous as I don't like football.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't like that football team. Hate speech.
Says Ceci, the Helen L. Carr Professor of Developmental Psychology. If we define unacceptable speech in terms of topics students say should be banned because they make them feel marginalized or uncomfortable, then remove all controversial topics from consideration.
I.e., talk about
Yes,
the
in other
weather.
words, you shoot yourself in the foot because you know what? We're only going to be able to say.
The weather
That
outside.
will eventually be deemed hate speech.
The weather outside exists.
Added Williams, professor of human development, feeling discomfort and angst at hearing words is not a legal reason to shut down other people's rights to say those things. Since the 1950s, psychological science has demonstrated that many types of bias can prevent opposing sides from accepting the validity of each other's arguments, the authors say. Selective perception makes opponents on an issue literally see things differently. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone does it. You can't escape it. There is no way to escape it because we could both have the identical lives and still come with vastly different conclusions. There was that one article we read where the guy was like, oh yeah, he's in a shit band doing shit things like, everyone else it turned out okay, but he's now part of some extreme alt-right group that's bordering on Nazism.
Yes, and he was in a horrible band.
Mm-hmm. In 1954, researchers showed a film of a 1951 football game, Princeton versus Dartmouth, well known for its competitive rough play, to two groups, one of Princeton fans and one of the Dartmouth boosters.
Yeah.
Each team's supporters saw the majority of flagrant violations as having been committed by opposing players.
Isn't that isn't that funny? Like if you ask, like I've talked to two different race fans. Actually, one of the things, if I must listen to football, which occasionally I have to because I'm in the car, one of the things I like to do is I like to switch between the two different radio calls whenever something happens, because one team. That was an amazing call. That was the greatest play in the world. The other, that play sucked. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could be the exact same play, but one team, that guy needs to be suspended. That guy did the right thing. It's retarded.
Mm-hmm.
I love switching between the two sides just to hear both of them.
For people with selective bias, it's not just that they interpret their perceptions differently, they actually see things differently, says he said.
Well, exactly. I mean, all you have to do is ask a fan of a certain driver why they did something stupid. Occasionally, you'll get yes, they did something stupid, but a lot of times you'll get no, he was just really aggressive. Yes, going into the turn so hot that he had no chance of actually making the turn, even if a miracle happened, is aggressive.
Yeah.
So I've had plenty of experience with that. Not that I've ever done that because I'm fucking perfect, but
Yeah, right.
yeah. Right, well, shut up.
My sweaty nutsack's gonna melt your face.
Ugh. Ugh. Okay, I have to puke now.
In my side bias, people look for evidence that supports their own opinions and ignore or downgrade evidence that contradicts them.
Well, yeah, I've had people explain to me why drivers do. Well, he could have made the turn. Well, yeah, if he had like more wheels,
Or
if the damn
God
wall
willed
wasn't in the
it.
way.
If God willed it, maybe. If Satan sprung up and just nudged the car another 16 feet, maybe.
Or my favorite. Well, yeah, if the damn wall wasn't in the way, he would have made the turn. Well, yeah, great thinking, Einstein.
Blind spot bias comes from deep identification with the cause. We believe we are especially enlightened, while our opponent's affiliation with the opposite side leads them to be biased. Yes, this is why I say everyone's a fucking idiot.
Yes,
This is myself included, everyone I've ever looked up to and everyone I've ever looked down on.
yes.
We're all the same amount of idiocy because we will never see the things that other people see.
I mean, I like
And you're lucky you're blind because you don't get to see anything.
I like putting myself in other people's shoes. I have read positive reviews of albums I hate. I have read positive reviews of Load and Risk and fucking
Not Risk. No,
yes, even Risk.
that hurts my spleen.
I know it's fucking weird, but I have actually read positive reviews. I've read negative reviews of albums I love, and
Yeah, I've done
so
that too.
occasionally I can even see at their point. The problem happens, like let's say Morbid Visions. People say, "Oh, it's so out of tune and so sloppy," yet I consider that an asset to the album, not a detriment.
Yeah.
Whereas Load, sometimes I can even see why they might like something if they're not really a metalhead. I just happen to hate it. Risk, I'm sorry, that's a lost cause.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
it's yeah.
Similarly, naive realism makes people feel their views are grounded in reality, but their opponents are not. Once again, more proof everyone's a fucking moron.
Yes.
These and many other biases explain why a sizable percentage of students favor banning nearly every controversial topic. The author said, "Yeah, that's exactly it. My side's the only side that exists." No, it is not.
Yes, there are about 8 sides to every story. It's I always hated the whole there's two sides
There
to
are
every
always
story.
9 heads. 9 heads.
Yes. I've always hated the whole there's two sides to every story expression because as far as I mean, I've never heard a story with only two sides. I've heard a story with
Okay, why don't we get into politics? We have Nazism, we have communism, we have that fucking social democrat bullshit you are, and
yeah,
that
that
really
libertarian
awesome
bullshit.
libertarian thing I am.
Oh yeah, fuck
You're
off.
fucking delusional.
We had that fucking stupid ass libertarian bullshit that you are. And we have the other utterly perfect system of politics that I believe in.
See? We do it to ourselves.
I knew that's where you were going. I was like, oh, I've got to stop him.
Yeah, exactly. For example, The Cato Institute survey of 3,000 Americans with university experience found 40% would ban a speaker who says men on average are better than women at math.
I don't know. I'm shit at math, and I know a friend who could fucking do a lot of math. But then again, Danamon's shit at math too. So
No, I dated a few chicks that were better at math than me. I've dated many, many, many more who sucked at math worse than I am.
I'm good at math if it's
There's only
it,
one that was about the same as me, and we had different problems, but like different things we couldn't do. But like most of the shit, like we could both do.
yeah. I'm good at math if someone says it to me, but if I have to like read it, I'm like, huh? But like, I'm not saying like 2 plus. I'm talking like algebra and shit like that. If someone says a problem out to me, I can solve it in my head. But if I had to read it out loud, it's like,
51% would ban claims that all white people are racist.
that's
You just banned all rap music.
that's me, the racist white person with the
You just
Aryan.
banned fucking metal sucks.
I love saying that to people that, oh yeah, me and the Aryan girlfriend.
Yeah, who's got skin as dark as my ex-wife.
Either people get it and they're like, she's not, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And the best part is you're blind, so that really fucks with the really dumb ones. Wait,
Yes.
like the ones that actually catch on. He's blind, so he doesn't know. So maybe she told him, but she's not. And what?
But she's from Kenya.
Yeah,
I love it.
49% would ban statements that Christians are backward and brainwashed.
I think
Oh,
Christians.
there goes the entirety of metal.
I think Christians are, great fuel for the fire.
49% would ban speech that criticizes police. 41% would ban speakers who say undocumented immigrants should be deported.
Wait, things that criticize. Well, there goes all punk. I actually had this conversation with someone where someone was saying that basically all cops are equivalent to child traffickers and hitmen, and I basically said, no, it's. I mean, I've ran into some good cops. It's not all cops, but he's a moron. I think
Most
he was.
cops I bumped into were just like, okay, this let you off with a warning. Thinking in the back of my head, yeah, you're the same officer that did this 37 times. Don't
Most
let me find you with weed again. And then he hopped in his car with his partner and drove off with
most cops, even if they
after
gave you
breaking our bowl and taking our weed.
even if they gave you a ticket, it was more like I'm just doing my job here. But I remember Puke used to carry around some ditch weed, the really bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he ever got caught, he would just hand it over to the. That's all we have. No need to search us. Okay, guys, thanks. And the guy, fucking moron. That shit's like smoking a brush fire.
74%
Yeah.
said universities should cancel speakers if students threaten violent protest. Oh, God, no. No, you should not. That's whenever you need to stand up and have the person there
Exactly, but
100 times more because you need to show these fuckers we're not backing down. Otherwise, you let the fucking people who hate you win.
exactly, but they will back
And
down.
that's part of that 74%.
And I can understand why a university would be reluctant to have it because they don't want damage to their property. I think it's idiotic, but I can understand why a university would be reluctant. Such as like I don't blame clubs for canceling bands because of Antifa threats. Because the last thing a club owner wants is to get bombed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh of course, me being me, what I'd say is, okay, show yourself, people. If you want to be violent, let's throw down.
19% said violence is justified to stifle speakers who might make others uncomfortable. So that 19% is going to jar the opinion of the above mentioned 74%.
Good
Sit
God.
there and think how much they're outweighed.
Anyway, violence is justified if so this guy makes me uncomfortable, therefore I should beat him senseless.
Yes, we should beat
Yeah,
everyone
my
senseless.
ex was scared of you. Like she actually admitted that she was afraid of like you.
Uh-huh.
So she had the right to beat the shit out of you.
According to 19% of college students, yes.
That would be an interesting
And I
fight.
never said a damn word to her.
Yeah, I think you said like 2. But that would be an interesting fight.
And 51% said it was okay to prevent others from hearing a speaker.
No,
Uh,
it's not okay to prevent others from hearing a speaker. Even if you don't agree. If you don't agree, go do something else with your life. Go smoke a bunch of pot and watch videos of puppies on YouTube.
just remember, you heard
Chainsaws.
it here. All these students don't want metal sucks. It should
I'm
be banned according to all these students.
I'm stuck at chainsaw puppies.
Chainsaw puppies, yes. In such a climate, the heckler's veto reigns supreme, and any expression that is offensive to any subgroup on campus would be banned, Williams said.
Well, the problem with that, of course, is there's so many fucking subgroups. So if I said that, you know, D&D people are boring if they play the good guy, is that offensive to fucking D&D players?
Yes, actually, it is, because a lot of them go off. I can't imagine anyone that would play an evil guy. Oh,
Oh,
God.
really? Oh my god, are you sodomizing a baby? Ah!
Dun, 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 dun. College experiences should involve challenging our beliefs, even when those experiences go beyond our comfort level. And no campus has the right to determine for the entire community what can be discussed, the author said.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I've always thought that's what colleges were supposed to be for.
Universities can take several steps to help students avoid the biases that prevent them from valuing other points of view and reduce extremist views and confrontations, they said.
It also get you into the real world because the real world, if you start complaining about this stuff, they're just gonna laugh at you.
Uh huh. And you're gonna be like, "You're offending me," and then you're mugged.
Yes. Okay, fine. I'm offending you on the ground.
Yeah, if you would have just kept your mouth shut, they would have let you go and just laughed at the puddle of piss that you left through your pants
Yes, but now we're gonna steal everything you had and make you lay in your own piss.
because you just now labeled yourself as someone they don't like.
Yes. Dun dun dun.
Just as colleges require that freshmen understand codes of conduct for sexual harassment, plagiarism, and intoxication.
I
Ah,
was just
yes,
thinking of the Metalocalypse thing. That is a nice belt you have. Ah!
hmm They could require freshmen to understand the difference between free speech and hate speech, between First Amendment protections and speech codes, and the meaning of evidence. Oh, God, do they need to know what the fuck evidence means? They need to know what the fuck fair trial means. Why don't you grab these students and throw in a mock trial, falsely accusing one
Yes.
of
Or
just whatever crime? It doesn't matter. Okay, just falsely accuse them of it and then play their part saying, no, you're not allowed this because you said you're not allowed that. We have to believe the plaintiff here.
yes, and then find them guilty.
hmm
It'd be awesome if
Just a
they were
mock
actually.
trial, no consequence, but them know what it's like to be
Oh
fucked.
no, there should be some consequence to this. There should be. I mean, it could be small, but there should be some consequence to this, just to really drive the point home.
Yeah, you fucking have to wear a sign, guilty or something. I don't know. Something stupid.
Clean the dorm rooms for a
There we
month.
go. There we go.
Of course, I'm such a like evil fascist that I would actually have real punishment, death by cannon
Yes.
for a show trial.
Yeah, role playing exercises could be woven into conventional seminars in which supporters of each side are asked to switch sides. Oh, see how quickly the straw manning begins.
God, that'll be fucking. Ugh. I'm so glad I didn't go to college. Let's put it that way.
And universities could organize civil debates on controversial topics. That I agree with. They should.
You know what will be a really controversial topic? Is Swine Brothers a valid expression of art?
Hello, baby. You dropped the ball at my feet. Students should be made to understand they are entering a place that believes deeply in the importance of dialogue and free speech, Ceci said.
Just so the viewers know, I think he's talking about his cat. I'm not sure.
Free speech isn't just for opinions that we all isn't just for opinions that we all share. That kind of speech doesn't need protecting. Actually, it kind of does because what we all share changes from generation to generation.
Yeah, true. And even
One day
fucking
you'll be in the shit bucket. Enjoy.
yay, the shit bucket.
It's for expressions that can be vile and hateful and disgusting. Yes, I agree with that too.
Like Swine Brothers. That needs to be like a new slur. Did you just call me a swine brother? Oh, how dare you!
Uh-huh. That has to be part of the cultural understanding.
Yes. And you have to know what the monster is. You have to study the monster before you can kill it.
Yes.
I mean, that would make a shit horror book or a horror movie if there's a monster out there. I don't know what it is. Let's kill it. Let's just throw everything we have at it. No, we have to study the monster first before we kill it.
Yes.
Although why you want to kill a monster, I don't know.
Why would anyone want to kill the monster?
Because people like to ruin my fun.
Yeah. Why universities must choose one telos, truth or social justice.
Yay.
Aristotle often evaluated a thing with respect to its telos, its purpose, end or goal. The telos of a knife is to cut. The telos of a physician is health or healing. What is the telos of a university?
Ah, good question.
Well, we had such high obscene percentages stating that the telos of universities should be, please protect me.
Wasn't Aristotle the one who was force fed hemlock?
Uh, no, that
Or
was
was that
Socrates.
Socrates?
That was Socrates.
Okay.
The most obvious answer is truth. The word appears on so many university crests. But increasingly, many of America's top universities are embracing social justice as their telos, or as a second and equal telos. But can any institution or profession have two teloses or teloi? What happens if they conflict?
Then we all go into a bloody civil war and everyone dies.
Good. As a social psychologist who studies morality, I have morality.
Morality.
I have watched these two teloses come into conflict increasingly often in my 30 years in the academy. The conflicts seemed manageable in the 1990s, but the intensity of the conflict has grown since then, and at the same time, the political diversity of the professorate was plummeting.
I'm stuck at morality here.
Yeah. But I love the fact that it's like, yeah, the political diversity, the actual thing you go to college for to get new ideas. Yeah, we're only going to mainline one idea and it'll never be new.
Granted, a lot of people just go to college because it's what their parents told them to do.
Or to go out drinking. No, that was my day. I think those days are gone because they all pussed out.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you're stuck doing this show.
Mm-hmm. And at the same time as American cross-partisan hostility was rising. Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
believe that the conflict reached its boiling point in the fall of 2015 when a student protesters at 80 universities demanded that their universities make much greater and much more explicit commitments to social justice.
I remember that. Nobody had any idea what the fuck they were talking about. Not even the protesters.
Mm-hmm. The protesters really didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, because half of them shot themselves in the foot by doing so after the things that promoted social justice took effect.
Yes, and the
Be careful what you wish for.
yes, and shooting yourself in the foot is not fun.
Often including mandatory courses and training for everyone in social justice perspectives and content. You have to take the courses.
Fine. This is what it's like to be an Elliot. Ah!
Now that many university presidents have agreed to implement many of the demands, I believe the conflict between truth and social justice is likely to become unmanageable.
That needs to be a class. This is what it's like to be an Elliot.
Ah, you're eating human flesh while it's still alive. Good.
Good God, what is wrong with him?
And then you have to burn out their eye sockets so that way they're blind too.
Yes, because that makes sense.
Universities will have to choose and be explicit about their choice so that potential students and faculty recruits can make an informed choice.
Informed choice? How dare you?
Universities that try to honor both will face increasing incoherence and internal conflict, just like they are now.
Yes.
As I watched the events unfold on campus over the past year, I began formulating an account of what has been happening, told from the perspective of moral and social psychology.
Oh boy.
I was invited to give several talks on campus this fall, and I took those invitations as opportunities to tell the story to current college students at Wesley, at SUNY, New Paltz, and at Duke.
Back in my day.
By the time of the Duke talk, I think I got the story worked out well enough to send it out into the world and hope that it will be shown on many college campuses.
It won't.
It's long, 66 minutes, but it is as short as I can make it. There are many pieces to the puzzle, and I had to present each one in order.
We may watch it and review it. I don't know.
Yeah. I begin with two quotations. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The key point is to change it. Karl Marx, 1845. He who knows only own blah. He who knows only his own side of the case knows little of that. His reasons may be good, and no one may have been able to refute them. But if he is equally unable to refute the reasons on the opposite side, if he does not so much as know what they are, he has no ground for preferring either option. John Stuart Mill, 1859.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
Marx is the patron saint of what I call social justice U. He most certainly is. I wish I could be that kind of bum to be worshipped years after my death.
Well, I'm starting up a death cult, I told you.
Yes, and I am God.
You're
my blind prophet.
Yay! In the desert for years, and everyone has to give me all their food.
Exactly.
You just starve the people, and then you have them fuck to create more disciples.
Which is oriented around changing the world in part by overthrowing power structures and privilege. It sees political diversity as an obstacle to action. Therein lies where you're going to fail.
Yep. Because people have
because
different
everyone that's even like 1% different than what you think is going to oppose you at that point.
And also, I mean, people just have different ideas about how to change the world. You and I have different ideas Although we can sort of agree on the fact that murdering everyone could help.
Yes, we agree on that point, but there's others. Such as, should we let it all collapse in on itself or should we help?
I'm for letting it collapse in.
I'm for helping.
Eh, well, there you go. Civil War time.
Mill is the patron saint of what I call Truth You, which sees truth as a process in which flawed individuals challenge each other's biased and incomplete reasoning. In the process, all become smarter. This is what I did with metal so many times when I was a kid. Just listening to all the different crazy ideas that opposed each other and then coming up with my own ideas of where the hell I stood on everything, or if
Yes.
I should even care about it. And a lot of it, I just found out I didn't care enough about to form an actual opinion.
Yep.
Past the fact I didn't care. Truth You dies when it becomes intellectually uniform or politically orthodox. Each professor has a field or telos. Fields interact constructively when members of one field use their skills to help members of another field achieve their telos. Example, Amazon, Google, and Apple are businesses that I love because they help me achieve my finding truth as a scholar. But fields can also interact destructively when they inject their own telos into other fields. Example, business infects medicine when doctors become business people who view their patients as opportunities for profit.
Yes. I have to have a new. I have to get another boat because the one I have is 3 years old. So we're gonna do these very painful and expensive surgeries on you, even though all you need is you know, a heating pad.
I will argue that social justice sometimes injects its telos of achieving racial equality and other kinds into their professions. And when it does, those professionals betray their telos. Sounds about right. A
Yeah.
consistent finding about human reasoning. If we want to believe X, we should ask ourselves, can I believe it?
The answer is
Wow,
always
that's
no.
actually suggesting introspection.
Introspection.
But when we
Blasphemy.
but when we don't want to believe a proposition, we ask, must I believe it? This holds for scholars too, with these results. Scholarship undertaken to support a political agenda almost always succeeds.
Yay, political agenda.
A scholar rarely believes she was biased. Well, we just got done talking about all that bias in the previous article.
Oh yeah, you don't. I mean, metal sucks. Will at least admit it's biased, but most people it don't see themselves as biased. I mean,
Everyone is.
yep.
Motivated scholarship often propagates pleasing falsehoods that cannot be removed from circulation, even after they are debunked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damage is contained if we can count on institutional disconfirmation. The certainty that other scholars who do not share our motives will do us the favor of trying to disconfirm our claims.
Yeah.
Yay, you're gonna call me. They're gonna finally say everything I said was bullshit. If I'm
Yay.
actually wrong, but they haven't yet, so I'm correct.
Yes. And you'll always be correct, even if you're incorrect. Thus, the cycle starts over again.
But we can't count on institutionalized disconfirmation anymore because there are hardly any more conservatives or libertarians in the humanities and social sciences, with
What
the
about
exception
sane?
of economics, which is merely a 3-to-1 left right ratio.
What about sane liberals? You know, like people like me who, like, I mean, yeah, we. I mean, social justice is something that is we should, try to end racism, but not through that way. We need to like look at it and try to see how we can kill it intellectually.
First, you realize it will never end, but you can make it go down to small numbers that will be completely ineffectual.
Yes,
How? You let them speak. And trust me, their idiocy will shine right through, and you'll be able to say, see? And this is what I was warning you about.
yes. Unfortunately, the modern left is retarded.
Hmm. This is why Heterodox Academy was founded, to call for the kind of diversity that would improve the quality of scholarship, at least if you embrace Mill rather than Marx. But that's the problem. uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Humanity evolved for tribal conflict. Along the way, we evolved a neat trick, our ability to forge a team by circling around sacred objects and principles.
like the sacred object of the death cult.
Yay! In the academy, we traditionally circled around truth, at least in the 20th century, and not perfectly. But in the 21st century, we're increasingly circling around a few victim groups. We want to protect them and help them and wipe out prejudice against them. We want to change the world with our scholarship. This is an admirable goal, but this new secular form of worship of victims has intersected with other sociological trends to give rise to a culture of victimhood on many campuses, particularly those that are the most egalitarian and politically uniform.
So basically, we should start launching nukes.
Victim culture breeds moral dependency in the very students it is trying to help. Students learn to appeal to third parties, the administrators, to resolve their conflicts rather than learning to handle conflicts on their own.
By dueling.
Yeah. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Nietzsche was right. And Nassim Taleb's book, Anti-Fragile, explains why. Kids need thousands of hours of unsupervised play and thousands of conflicts and challenges they must resolve without adult help in order to become independently functioning adults.
And
And
then
people
also,
say
you
I'm
can have,
full of shit for letting 7-year-olds run after midnight.
and then you also have some great stories to tell when you're like older. Yeah, when I was a kid, I fucking accidentally killed my friend. It was fun.
No, stories like mine. When I was a kid, we made homemade napalm. And then my friend went to stomp it out, and it did what napalm does, which is stick. So the flame was stuck to the bottom of his foot. He was running around screaming, "Oh my God, put it out, put it out, put it out." And then finally went out on his foot. And we just had to sit there and let the rest of it burn out. And then we realized maybe we shouldn't be fucking with this anywhere near anything else that's flammable.
Oh, I
Or
still
how
like
about
the
the time that we had my buddy had Jeff had gotten a bunch of M80s, and there was one that had a wick sticking out the side. And because earlier that summer we had a bunch of smoke bombs that looked similar to this M80 with the wick sticking out the side, I decided this particular M80 was a smoke bomb. So whenever he lit it and put it on the ground, after I told him this is a smoke bomb, it's not an M80, it's a smoke bomb, it's not an M80. He threw it on the ground. I'm dancing around it saying, "Kill me, kill me, kill me," all in an attempt to mock him and prove that it was a smoke bomb. No, it wasn't an M80. It blew up and knocked me on my ass. Fortunately, I was far enough away so I didn't suffer injury, but the blast itself just went boom, and I'm like, oh! And all Jeff did was point and laugh.
tell about the story about the time you actually what was it? You burned someone's yard down or whatever?
No, this was Jeff. Oh God, we were playing GI Joes in his backyard, and we went into his garage and got out the gasoline to use that as our napalm for the GI Joes. So we were starting to set GI Joes on fire, and because he poured a little bit too much gas on the fire, it actually smothered the small fire and went out instead of going up. And it's, oh, cool, gas can actually put out fire. So he pours it on another fire that was a little bit bigger, not enough to smother it, and the flame shot up to the gas can onto the fucking and started burning the plastic nozzle. And he's like, "Oh my god!" So, in an attempt to put out the fire on the nozzle, he began pouring more gas out of the can, which shot flames everywhere as he's running around the yard with it. And I'm there stomping out all the small fires he's creating with it. There were huge patches of scorched grass everywhere before he finally got the idea to stick the nozzle itself in the dirt. And that's how you learn.
I just love the logic. Guys, so we can put out fires. Let me try this.
Yes. These are all lessons you can learn. Handy lessons that'll help you not fuck up in life.
Yes, you may die, but whatever.
You learn this as a kid, and you don't do really retarded shit as an adult.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But because of changes in American childbearing that began in the 1980s, and especially because of the helicopter parenting that took off in the 1990s for middle class and wealthy kids, they no longer get these experiences. Yep.
That makes total sense in context what you just said. Like, it's just imagine the guy had stopped and told every reader about these experiences that he just said. That you just told them, and they don't get these experiences.
Yeah, they don't realize you should be really careful when playing with fire.
Or
Oh,
the
really?
time that
I burned my house down.
or the time your
Versus
friend
when you're a kid, oh, I got a few patches of burnt grass, and oh my god, we shouldn't be making napalm
or the time your friend tried to make an automatic weapon.
Oh god, that guy. He just shaved a spring a fraction of a micrometer too much, and like the gun went bap 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 bap, and it wouldn't stop after he released the trigger, and all he could do was aim it away from us while me and Jeff hid behind a rock, praying that it didn't blow up in his hand because it jammed or something. And the funny part was where he was aiming it. It was right by a tree, and he had shot enough ammo out of his drum clip to rip a tree in half. So no, don't modify your fucking rifle to go full auto unless you have taken some sort of good machinist course.
Yeah, unless you really know what you're doing.
Yeah, you really have to know what you're doing, or else you won't shut off. No.
That was a stupid fucking thing to do, though.
It was very stupid, yes. I think he ended up shaving that gun down to dust.
I'm not fucking with that ever again.
Yeah, he just tore it down, took apart the gun like he was going to clean it, but instead of cleaning it, took the parts out to metal shop class and ground it all down. Saying, nope, no one's using this ever again.
That was fucking retarded. I love it.
Yeah.
See, that's what I love his stories.
Mm-hmm. That's what your fucking helicopter parents are denying you.
Yes.
And you all have even better stories to tell if you go out and do it, because we have different technology now.
God, just think about what the stories my kids would tell.
Oh, God, yes.
Especially because they have my fucking insanity.
Instead, they are enmeshed in a safety culture. God, I fucking hate safety.
I like safety. Safety, safety the hard way, such as nail bombs are a really stupid idea because you can't control where the nails go.
And you found that out firsthand.
Yes.
As did we. as did me and my friends. It's like we're not making pipe bombs like that anymore.
No,
We're we're not making pipe bombs. Period. Whenever we fuck around like this, we're gonna make it in a fucking cardboard tube, like from fucking toilet paper tubes. Yeah, we'll use that.
oh, we still made pipe bombs. We just didn't put any shrapnel in them because I think it destroyed
Well,
a
the pipe
building.
bomb itself ended up like rupturing in a way that almost took off one of our heads.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
learned not to do that
but
anymore.
nails you can't control. I mean, you can't control nails. And yeah, we almost lost eyes and hands. I mean, losing an eye doesn't matter for me so much, but it still hurts like hell.
Yeah. That begins when they are young, and it is now carried all the way through college. Yeah, because they're acting like 5-year-olds instead of young adults trying to experiment.
With nail bombs.
Books and words and visiting speakers are seen as dangerous and even forms of violence. Yep. Trigger
Right,
warnings and say what?
right to your college and say you want Jim to tell his stories in your fucking university.
Yes.
Kids, this is how you need to live.
This is how you know you lived. And whenever you're sitting on your back porch on about 4, 6, 8 hits of acid, you start coming with this huge pseudo philosophical speech about like how the concept of deity is always something bigger than yourself. And then you look down, you see a line of ants. And then you step on the line of ants and say, and as they're scurrying away, you say, they're in their fearful phase now. Soon they will come to adore me. And then a second line of ants leaves offerings at your feet. I mean, the science involved is that, whenever I lifted my foot just a little bit, they caught, while the second line of ants was going wherever the hell they were going, they caught a huge whiff of the danger death here pheromone released whenever you kill a shit ton of ants.
Yeah.
So they did what nature tells them to do, which is drop what you're doing and run like hell. But I was on so much acid, I just believed, forgot
Knowing
anything
that you
I learned in
lived,
grade school science. I ignored grade school science entirely and thought that they had left me homage and just began laughing maniacally as everyone stared on like, oh my God, the ants really do worship him now.
and also knowing that you lived is having a deep philosophical conversation where you figured out the meaning of life, only to discover.
Well, the one time I drank the orange Julius that had the cigarette butt out in it, and that's whenever we completely forgot the meaning of life because we laughed too hard and couldn't remember the meaning of life. The second time, we decided to record ourselves, and we knew we had the meaning of life that time. And we played it back, and it was just 2 hours of us sitting there laughing at the stereo.
I love that.
Occasionally, you hear like 2 words, like, oh yeah. And that was it for 2 hours.
Did you actually listen to the entire thing?
Yeah, we had to say something, and we did. It was like 2 words here. Oh yeah, that's fucked up. And just like but we knew we had this conversation. We agreed on everything we said, and it was just us laughing at the stereo.
That is such an awesome story. Or the time that my
Well,
friend.
the great time was like whenever we were sitting outside, we were all tripping and we were smoking pot out there, and there had to be like a huge plume because we were smoking a shit ton. Each of us had a bong or bowl, and after we took a hit, we would pass to the next person, but then we would have to receive another bowl from the person beside us. And sometimes we'd be stuck with 2 because we started passing it in different directions and doing corner shit to try to really fuck people up. So you'd have 2 or 3 bowls or bongs in your lap smoking it. And, we'd just finish it up and start put things away. And this 17th century admiral fucking in this big dress blue, like, fucking thing that you would see coming out of a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon, came around and said, nice piece of outside you have here, boys. We all just looked at each other. Did you see that? And let's go inside. Now, what probably happened was a fucking cop in blue uniform came down. But we all saw him as a 17th century admiral.
One wonders what he actually said.
Well, we were talking about, what if someone owned everything that was outside, but you can only own things that were inside? This is deep philosophical conversation when you're on acid. It's regardless of how stupid it sounds.
Or the time when my friend tried to jump out of a 3-story window, and we asked, and as my friend Allison was holding him in, as he was, no, dude, I need to jump out this window. Why? Don't you see it? There's a chrome butterfly circling the building. I want to go for a ride.
No, that reminds me of the time that the politician's son was partying with us. And me and this one chick that I barely knew started flicking ashes on him. I said, "You're an ashtray. You're an ashtray." He was tripping hard. And like someone's like, "Okay, I gotta put my cigarette out. Where's the ashtray?" And he's like, "I'm an ashtray." He grabs the cigarette, puts it out on his arm. Ow! Wait a minute. I'm not an ashtray.
These are experiences that you can't get if you have helicopter parents.
Right. Learn to break out of your parents' house, sneak out, become jailbait. Whatever the fuck it takes, get out and do something. Live a life and enjoy it. Don't be
Jailbait,
all
you say?
fearful of everything.
Jailbait, you say? I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, mister. You're 14, fucking a 30-year-old or something. I don't know how old she was.
Only 10 years older.
Okay, 20. Trigger warnings in safe spaces are necessary to protect fragile young people from danger and violence. Fuck trigger warnings. Fuck safe spaces.
Yes.
But such a culture is incompatible with political diversity, since many conservative ideas and speakers are labeled as threatening and banned from campus and the curriculum.
Well, I would also say that in conservative places, certain liberal speakers are also called threatening. So it needs to go both ways here, people.
Yeah, I've seen that too. It's a lot less often, but some of the really cult-like places, yeah, they go off the deep end, and somehow they're letting the cult-like places go.
I want a cult like place.
I want a college that's a cult to me.
Yay, cult to you.
You could be the blind prophet who teaches, I don't care. Just teach something.
And thus said the blind prophet, if you do not listen to an obscure demo by the band Hell Preacher, you shall burn in heaven.
There we go. Hell burns brightly in heaven. Students who question the dominant political ethos are worn down by hostile reactions in the classroom. This is one of the reasons why universities must choose one telos. Any institution that embraces safety culture cannot have the kind of viewpoint diversity that Mill advocated as essential in the search of truth. Yes, because you need to perform introspection while entertaining the ideas that oppose your own. Otherwise, you have no idea what the fuck you actually stand for and become a complete sheep.
Yes. Which you'll be used to me as a sheep, though.
I mean, seriously, there's a lot of shit that I disagree with. It's fucking National Socialist, okay? I fucking disagree with like 99.689% of what the hell they say, because there are a couple things they actually got right, such as the current climate on fucking colleges. They called it back in the 90s. I still can't believe you fuckers are proving National Socialists correct. Motherfuckers.
Yes. And thus perpetuating a cycle
Yeah.
that Oh boy.
That should have died down to the point where everyone was nothing. But now you're making it something because you're all idiots.
Yes, and it is hilarious.
Find a way to sneak out of your house. I know someone that fucking snuck out of a 50th story apartment from his parents to come hang out with us because he was banned from ever seeing us.
I know people who snuck into people's houses. Like they would party in the bedroom and they would put down like a sheet from like a fifth story thing and they would just climb up it. And I
Jeff,
asked you, how did you climb up a fucking sheet? You're not exactly fucking dwarf, are you? And he's like, carefully.
Jeff, my best friend for the longest time till he died. Oh God. There was a point in time where his parents forbid him to ever see me. And the reason why was because they were doing something for Cub Scouts and his father was like part of like, the actual committee involved in like, the actual hierarchy of the Cub Scouts at that time or Boy Scouts, I forget which one. And they were doing their usual, let's sell, cookies and popcorn and shit sale. And Jeff saw there was a giant wad of money.
So he's
He stole said giant wad of money, and we bought so much candy with it. Oh my
which
God, that lasted us an entire summer and halfway into the school year. But his parents noticed the giant wad of money was missing.
yes.
So they said, someone took all that money, and we know it was either you or it was Jimmy. Which one was it? And Jeff's response was, it wasn't me. He never actually blamed me directly, but the fact that it was an ultimatum means that, yes, he did blame me. So I was banned for seeing him because he stole money and wouldn't fess up.
What a great friend. Sounds like some puke would do.
Oh, yeah, this is part of what made me the bad seed, even though Jeff was the real bad seed.
You know,
That
I
was
can remember.
great.
I can remember I had a sort of on again, off again girlfriend, not really, who was more closer to my age, but her parents were afraid to let me see her. Like every time she said, "Hey, I'm going over to Elliot's," but he's gonna corrupt you. If they only knew the roles were reversed and she was corrupting me,
Mm-hmm.
like she was introducing me to things that I had never thought about, and like my brain was just going haywire. But they thought I was going to corrupt her because innocent little, well, not innocent, but oh god, he's the metalhead. It's like,
Every
wow.
single instance that we started shoplifting, vandalizing, the one time we actually broke into an abandoned house, cleaning up. Oh God, there was this one time where we cleaned up this trailer that was near, right beside a fucking abandoned factory. This is where the guards used to live. And we got busted for that. But then we decided, well, fuck this. We're going to get busted for that. We just started cleaning up a couple rooms inside the factory itself, and they didn't notice that. that was
I,
all. That was all Jeff's idea. The only one thing, the single thing I ever did to corrupt him, because he corrupted me on everything else. The one thing I did to corrupt him was I was the first person to ever get him high. I We went out in the middle of the woods and we were drinking pop, and I took out my little fucking key rings. It was like this little pocket thing, and I punctured holes in one of the pop cans and turned it into a fucking bowl, and we smoked pot out of that. And he's like sitting there saying, "This is doing nothing for me. This is doing nothing for me. This is bullshit. This is fake. This is fake." And I kept telling him, "Jeff, it's creeper weed. It'll kick in shortly." "Oh, don't. It's all fucked up. You're fucked up, Jim. This is bullshit. This is fake." He goes to stand up,
yep,
then slumps right back down laughing.
yep. Yeah, it really hits you when you stand up.
Mm-hmm.
We broke into an abandoned house once, which we were very surprised to find actually a very fairly tidy squat with what turned out to be one of Puke's friends living there, and all he said was, "Hey guys, Do you mind knocking? It was like, I didn't know you live here.
See, I remember Jeff boasting about the one time because he had been sold fake acid before many,
Yep.
many times.
Yep.
It's like I finally got to try real acid. It's fucking great, Jim. You don't understand. It's fucking awesome. It's like, well, where I could get some. He didn't know. So I was talking with my other buddy, John, and he's like, "Oh, I can hook you up." So he went out and he was going to give me 2 hits of acid just to see what I would do, and it was really good shit. And what he did was he bought 6 hits of acid, so he'd take 2, I'd take 2, and he have 2 that he owed a friend. He was saying something along the lines of, "Well, I cut it into 2 doubles, so you just take 1,
Yeah.
whatever, But in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to take 2 hits of acid. There's 2 pieces of paper here, so I ate 4 hits of acid.
Oops. What was that like?
Oh my God! It was the blizzard of '94. I remember parts of it well. That was whenever we discovered the meaning of life, and I drank the orange Julius with the cigarette butt in it that I told you about not too long
Blizzard of '94, you say?
ago. Hmm.
That's the year I was born. It was heralded.
Yay. Yeah, and like just everything was going on. I remember like, okay, when the blizzard really hit, and we were like, okay, we got to get a ride home. We met up with the one stoner we knew that worked as part of the crew there at the mall. It's like, okay, if you help me clean up, we could get out of here quicker, and I could drive you home. Oh my God, I never, ever, ever had so much fun cleaning toilets in my entire life because geometric shapes were being eaten by computer generated images. It just blind. I heard every time I went to use the scrubber inside the toilet, and it was disgusting. And I was emptying tampon
Oh.
bins that just made music and said, "Ooh, pussy." And
Yes.
there was this retarded guy that worked there, Down syndrome, something like that. And for some reason, I thought he was a hallucination. But the fanfare of that fanfare would play every time he came around. And I thought that was real, but the man himself was a hallucination.
See, once again, this is what you don't get if you're a helicopter parent.
Mm-hmm. So we finally get done cleaning up the place. We help the guy shovel off all the snow off his car. I'm like, I want some orange juice. Let's go to Eaton Park, which is just across the street from the mall, and we could have walked there. But we had him drop us off at Eaton Park. Now, we started the day at Denny's, and I remember they had some good orange juice. So after we had an orange juice at Eaton Park, we walked back across the snow-trodden street over to Denny's because I wanted to see which orange juice was actually better. We went back to Eaton Park and back to Denny's in the quest of which one's better. We finally went back to Eaton Park, and John's like, I've had enough of this shit. I've been babysitting him too long. So he started striking up a conversation with people, and there were some college students there from nearby Seton Hill. Or Satan Hell, as the students called it at the time. It's a religious school. So he's talking with them, making good with them, and like he's telling me, about me and my buddies tripping and all this. So, like they're curious about like what tripping's all like, and like he's telling me, yeah, it's really fucked up and shit, but we could tell you more if you just offer me and my buddy here a ride home, because it's like, okay, we'll give you a ride home. And it's like, hey Jim, and I just remember all eyes were on me, and I just said pretty much at the top of my lungs, I'm tripping my balls off right now. And John's like, oh my God, I've been playing it straight with these waitresses so long. I was hoping you could hold out just a little bit longer. You said that at the top of your lungs, you flacker.
Oops.
So we go over there, we bullshit with this guys, and they're asking me a lot of questions because they know I'm really feeling it. I'm answering them as best I can as their faces are melting and turning into crazy shit. And we finally get our ride home, and we're dropped off like 1 block away. So we walk to his mother's pad, and I spent the rest of the night playing The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. It was brand new at the time. Okay. Well, it had come out recently enough, so it was still considered top line.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just so amazed by the graphics and everything. And it was just like, oh my God. And I'd started a new game. And I don't even know how I did it, but I beat the game within just a few hours. And then I passed out on the couch.
Acid power.
Yeah, I know. But it was like the most amazing experience ever.
As fun as that is, I do not recommend taking acid before this show. We had a guy who was really, really high once, and yeah, he kept saying he was trying to say something, but he kept having a vision of aliens coming to McDonald's and abducting us.
That's great.
Yes.
Students who question the dominant political ethos are worn down by hostile reactions in classrooms. This is one of the core reasons why universities must choose. Okay, we just went over that. All right. At Truth U, there is no such thing as blasphemy. Good.
Except the band.
Yeah. The band is accepted. Other forms do not exist. Bad ideas get refuted, not punished. Good. You tell them why they're idiots, and then fewer people become idiots. If you don't tell them why they're idiots and you force them into the underground, well, anyone that feels disenfranchised, which means anyone that disagrees, even one fraction of a percent with you, is going to start
Yes.
digging underground, and they'll find that idiocy. And there's always that chance you just created another Nazi because you forced someone into the underground. Good
Yep.
job.
Good job.
But at SJU, there are many blasphemy laws. There are ideas, theories, facts, and authors that one cannot use. I love not being able to use fact because it's blasphemy.
Yes, facts are blasphemous.
The world is round. Oh, can't use that. It's blasphemy.
In the church of, yeah.
Uh, it took them like how many years, hundreds years, to let the one guy that had died many years ago back into the Catholic Church
Yes.
because he said the world was round.
Yes. And they didn't like that at all.
Mm-hmm. And now we got Pac-Man theory.
Gosh, that was retarded.
Yes. This makes it difficult to do good social science about politically valence topics. Social science is hard enough as it is, with big complicated problems resulting from many interacting casual forces. But at SJU, many of the most powerful explanatory tools are simply banned.
Yes, well, that's why we should burn all universities down and turn them all into metal clubs.
Yes. Burn the church down.
Yes,
Those were
burn the
the
church.
days. I was even part of the scene back then, but god damn it, I would have loved to have been dead
Well, yeah.
in the church. And then I'd be in prison for 7 years minimum.
Well, yeah, but then you could tell stories about the time you had to shank someone.
Exactly.
So, damn it, go to prison.
All social scientists know that correlation does not imply causation. Yep.
Yeah.
But what if there is a correlation between a demographic category, race or gender, and a real world outcome, employment in tech companies or on the faculty of STEM departments? At SJU, they teach you to infer causality, systemic racism, or sexism. I show you an example in which this teaching leads to demonstrably erroneous conclusions. At Truth U, in contrast, you teach that disparate outcomes do not imply disparate treatment. Disparate outcomes are an invitation to look closely for disparate treatment, which is sometimes the case of the disparity, sometimes not. Sometimes the cause of disparity, sometimes not. Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it causes it, sometimes it's just, oh, well, this is just coincidence.
Yep. And sometimes death.
Sometimes I fart because I ate too much salad. Other times I just fart.
Ugh, salad.
I like salad.
Yes, well, you also like KMFDM.
There seems to be two major kinds of justice that activists are seeking: finding and eradicating disparate treatment, which is always a good thing to do and which never conflicts with truth, and finding and eradicating disparate outcomes. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, then you should just give me my fucking college diploma now because I dropped out. That's disparate outcome. I never got my college diploma. You have to give it to me now.
You should give me mine even though I didn't even go.
Exactly.
I deserve one because I'm blind and because I'm a world renowned host that I
Yeah,
know.
that's why you get a driver's license, because you're blind. That's a disparate outcome right there. You never got your driver's license.
I
Therefore, you,
can jive.
without regard for disparate inputs or third variables, or fourth or fifth, in my opinion,
Yeah.
there could be more and more going on. Sometimes things are really simple, other times, dear God.
Yes.
It is the latter part which causes all of the problems, all of the conflicts with truth. In the real world, there are many disparities of inputs, but anyone who mentions such disparities on campus is guilty of blasphemy and must be punished.
Punishment is death.
I worked through an example of how the attempt to eliminate outcome disparities can force people to disregard both truth and justice. This is no way to run a university.
Yay, university.
Um, Given the arguments made in sections 1 through 7, I think it's clear that no university can have truth and social justice as dual teloses. Each university must pick one. I show that Brown University has staked out the leadership position for SJU, and the University of Chicago has staked out the leadership position for Truth U. This has been confirmed by their rankings in the new Heterodox Academy Guide to Colleges.
What about the filth you?
Yes, that's Swine Brothers. We're leading the way.
Yay! I like filth you. It's fun. Just basically find the worst ideas and then make fun of them.
And become complete degenerates. It's great. I love being a degenerate scumbag.
It's the only thing I know how to be. I mean, seriously, I couldn't be a bright, upstanding member of the community. I don't know what that would entail.
And anyone that calls me that is going to get a lawsuit for defamation. I am not an upstanding member of the community.
Yes, you called me that the other day. I was like, I've never been so insulted.
And I know it is insulting. I close by urging students on every campus in America to raise the question among themselves: which way do we want our university to go? I offer a specific tool to raise the question: the Heterodox University Initiative. If students on every campus would propose these three specific resolutions to their student government, perhaps as the basis of a campus wide referendum, then students can make their choice known to the faculty and administration. The students can send a clear signal as to whether they want more or less viewpoint diversity on campus. If you
Yeah.
want less viewpoint diversity on campus, you become the only person there.
Yes.
At very least, a campus-wide discussion of Marx versus Mill will be a constructive conversation to have.
What about a campus-wide conversation, Elite versus Jim?
That would be pointless because we agree on like half the things, and the other half most of them are like arbitrary points, and then the other ones are like lofty ideals that can never be achieved. So we only fight for what's reasonable as opposed to,
Yes, and my friends like to make fun of us whenever they think one of us is an idiot, which happens quite a lot actually. Both sides.
violence requires multiple definitions.
Okay.
Violence, sexual and otherwise, afflicts Oberlin as it does colleges and universities around the world, and our community needs to address it vigorously. But we won't be able to do so effectively unless we know what we are talking about when we talk about violence.
Violence. I love it.
Violence is an idea, according to the last article.
Violence has
And
arrived.
everything that Metal Sucks has ever published, violence is always an idea without action.
Violent murder is what I'm gonna do.
Chaos 88, more violence. Chaos 88, more beer.
And yet, the funny thing about KSADA is I actually read Stormfront posts calling them degenerates.
That's great.
Yes.
My colleague, Professor Copeland, responded forcefully last week to a previous letter objecting to Christina Hoff Summers' campus visit. Free speech not equivalent to violence. Yeah, she was going to say free speech is not violence, but, we're going to have to violently reject her because free speech is violence, according to Oberlin.
Yes, free speech is analogous to beating someone to death.
Yes.
Just remember that anyone who's ever suffered a violent attack.
Yeah. In particular, he took issue with the line, her talk is happening, so let's pull together in the face of this violence.
Violence. I love it.
I don't think she's even capable of punching someone. She looks so fucking meek. I could fart on her and she would probably
Yeah,
have
she's not
6
exactly. She's not exactly.
She's not built like a truck like I am. I'll tell you that much. And I'm fat.
Oh, a fucking broken down truck.
Yeah, a broken down truck that's rusting in the back lot.
Yeah, she's not exactly Supergirl, is she?
And make our own space to support each other. In response to Summer's talk, a love letter to ourselves. Well, that's where you got the problem. You're loving yourselves too much.
That's the code word for masturbation.
Yes. He called this use of the word violence irresponsible because it collapses the distinction between constitutionally protected speech and rape or other forms of sexual violence.
Well, then again, I did have someone who said that me saying that I didn't like Lady Gaga was analogous to laughing at someone being raped. I shit you not, they actually said this.
I think Professor Copeland is missing something, but I also think the letter's authors didn't articulate their conception of violence clearly.
Violence should have no conception. It should be cut and dry. Violence is when you cause physical harm for someone else.
Yes, not emotional. Ooh, wow. Just because someone farted.
Well, I'm sure your farts can cause emotional harm.
Probably. Constitutionally protected speech can indeed be violent, but not in the same way. Puppies are violent because the word puppies has an ease at the end. That's what makes it violent.
Wait, no, Jim. Puppies are violent because have you ever been bitten by? They fucking latch on those things.
Exactly. The word puppies is violent because puppies themselves are violent. Yeah.
Yes. And puppies are violent because they bite.
And kitties are, and the word kitties means violence.
Because they,
God, do you know how many times they gnaw my arm just by petting them?
which means that anything with like a girls dressed up as cats must be banned.
This entire letter is violence. Mm.
Uh, by the way,
Letter writers, huh?
to anyone watching this, that was a joke about all people, all girls being dressed up as cats as banned. Please don't take that to heart and start a movement on my behalf. I was joking.
No, they'll do it anyway. We know how these pussies operate. Meow, 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 meow. Pussy, pussy, meow, meow.
Yeah.
The letter writers highlight violence in responses to victims. We might call the latter discursive violence. Just keep coming up with new
This
terms to try
reminds
to
me.
make everything banned, including yourself. Enjoy shooting yourself in the foot. I'm
This
going to
reminds me of the
laugh.
black metal manifesto by that liturgy guy with the Hyperborean black metal and the burst speed. Discursive violence is the burst speed.
Yep. Because it attacks victims' experiences and their descriptions of reactions to those experiences.
God.
Attack, attack, and when in doubt, attack again.
Okay.
Never go to Oberlin College, by the way. Let them go bankrupt.
Yeah. I
It
feel like
needs a ban.
attacking someone.
Without lifting a finger, discursive violence rejects these experiences as inarticulate, unintelligible, and illegitimate in the public sphere.
Yeah. God damn
Words
it.
mean that everything is going to.
Uh,
Copeland
uh,
himself points in the direction. You're
Sarah,
spelling out everything that previous article just did right here.
Sarah just sent
Saying exactly what the hell's going
a
on.
message. Sarah just sent a message after I jokingly said ban cat. She said, yes, we should ban shows like Josie and the Pussycats. Plus, it's pussy. You can't have the word pussy anymore.
Or the word cunt.
Yes. And also she says, dot, 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 by the way, I was joking. Don't start a movement on my behalf. Which is sort of an inside joke between my friends and I whenever we say something and we're like, wait, people actually might think that would be a decent movement. It was a joke.
And it all started anyway. Just
Yes.
because. Oh my god! Copeland himself points in this direction, though he likely meant it metaphorically when he refers to the unspeakable horror of sexual assault. Okay, the unspeakable horror of sexual assault is, you know, equivalent to this discursive violence, which is totally just people saying things that's a different opinion. What makes it unspeakable, in part, is a public sphere that excludes, marginalizes, or derides it. So
I
he took an adjective frequently used to describe a horrendous act, a heinous act, and extrapolated it as that we're now censoring victims as by, but then says we have to censor other people so that way the victims can speak, but eventually that turns around and means that victims themselves cannot speak because they're being censored. What the fuck
It's
are
a
you even
slippery slope.
proposing? So violence can be physical as well as discursive. And some would say that even this discursive is not very useful because the body is not separate from our experiences and our practices of meaning making. So you're going to have to ban all words because there's no way to make meaning of every word as you rewrite dictionaries.
The next episode of the Swine Brothers show.
The point is there that are distinctions to be made, and unless we make them clearly, it is going to be hard to have the kinds of conversations necessary to make Oberlin an even more welcoming, thoughtful, and vibrant community. By shutting out anyone who thinks differently, you must conform now, or else we will boot you out. That's pretty much every cult ever.
Yay,
Or,
cults are fun.
I mean, Jim Jones said that he was welcoming, thoughtful, and vibrant, and had a vibrant community.
And he was.
Yeah, until they all drank the Flavor Aid.
Which I still think is hilarious, but hey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skimp even though it's the last meal.
Oh God. Oh. Oh God. Must purge brain.
Brain? What is brain?
Mother, 19 years old, stabbed boyfriend during sex after telling him men should only be used for human sacrifice.
Okay, first off, I was so hoping you were gonna do this. Second off, I think I want to elect her like president of the world. Men
Yes.
should only be used as human sacrifice. Die. Wait till you read it. It gets even better though.
Okay. A young mother has been jailed for 11 years for stabbing her occasional boyfriend as they had sexual intercourse after texting him to say men should only be used as human sacrifice. So you texted him saying men should only be used as human sacrifice after you fucked them and then stabbed them.
I get. Well, we'll read on and see what
I mean,
happens.
you look like a complete sack of neo-yuppie filth, but hey. Zoe Adams, 19, had dressed up as a clown and put a pillow over.
That's even better. She did it all dressed up as a clown.
Fucking great.
This
Oh,
this
God.
this sounds like my bizarre sexual fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
And no, the thing I love is that okay, so I commented on this and Scott and I was like, yes, this sounds amazing. And someone's like, oh, what are you, some sort of self-hating? It's like I'm not self-hating. I just have a complete obsession with sociopaths.
So she pulled a John Wayne Gacy.
Yes, and I have a weird obsession with that. Is that wrong?
And put a pillow over Karen Bewick's head to make their encounter more exhilarating on July 29th last year. Carlisle Crown Court heard. In what she described as an overreaction, she whispered, "Trust me," to the then 17-year-old before stabbing him 5 times in the chest, arm, and thigh with a 10-inch thick knife, collapsing his lung.
I just thought that I overreacted.
Having seized Adam's iPhone, the court heard of images she had saved on the device, which included a blood-soaked woman with the caption, "Murder is like a bag of chips. You can't just stop after one." Beautiful. I agree. Murder's like a bag of chips. You can't stop after just one. The device also had a text message to her victim reading, "I don't think about males unless said male is strapped up and being used as a human sacrifice. You should be grateful you are not part of it."
That is the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
That is sweet, sweet BDSM.
And people are like, "Oh, you're self-hating man." It's like, no, I'm a pervert.
That is a pervert.
I mean, but
Enjoying that is perverted.
is that a bad thing?
Great. We're perverted degenerates. This is beautiful.
Yes.
Adams claimed that she could not remember the incident, but sentencing Judge James Adkin said her cruel and sadistic actions were deliberately intended to cause harm to her victim. Yeah,
Oh,
grabbed him and started stabbing him after putting a pillow over his head, dressed up like a clown.
this is someone I like.
Oh, men are only good for human sacrifice. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Jim. He is
Stab.
slaughtering everybody that is not him.
Stab.
He hates us all and wants us dead because we're all human.
Stab.
Jim will kill us all.
Stab. 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 Stab.
He added that she planned the attack, taking the knife and duct tape to her bedroom.
Ooh.
Mr. Bewick, who is afraid of clowns. That's even better.
I am afraid of clowns, but I'm gonna fuck my girlfriend just as a clown.
Had declined Adams' earlier suggestion to be tied up with the tape, and the pillow was a compromise.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Judge Adkins said you had decided to cause serious harm to Mr. Bewick during sex. I am sure that by the time you had already become disinhibited by drink and drugs, and the more sadistic side of your personality had become dominant. The judge ruling that Adams is a dangerous offender.
This guy sounds boring. This judge sounds boring.
But I like his description of it. You're drunk and high, and the more sadistic side of your personality had come out to play.
Which is funny because when I get drunk and high, I get actually like really peaceful and happy. It's when I'm sober that the sadistic side comes out. When I'm drunk, I just start telling stupid jokes about things.
In his victim impact statement, Mr. Bewick said that he had struggled to sleep since the attack, which left him with the injury to his lung and pneumonia. I struggle with the knowledge that someone I genuinely cared about could do this to me.
I would struggle with the knowledge that someone I genuinely care about didn't do it to me. But then again, as Scott said, I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked up.
I love Scott's reaction whenever I tell him like just the random things I think about. Like a good friend will always attempt your life,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "That's not right, dude." I was like, whoever said I was right?
Exactly.
Whoever said I was sane?
Just after I got out of the hospital, this thought played on my mind a lot. But having had time to think about it, I am convinced that she planned it. It wasn't personal. She was going to do it to someone, and it just happened to be me. Strangely, that makes it easier to deal with.
Lucky. I want to be used as human sacrifice material.
Yay!
It would sort of ruin the show if I died, but you know what? I think you guys can forgive me.
It's time to rape your mother. It's time to destroy all life. It's time to murder the family on the Kraken Show tonight. Doo doo doo.
That's our theme song if we ever actually get a theme song.
He was going to be scarred mentally and emotionally for the rest of his life, he said, adding, I've always had a fear of clowns, and Zoe knew this. This will now only increase my fear of clowns.
Watch. We'll read it in 3 years. Man goes over the edge and starts murdering people, dressed as a demonic clown.
Mm-hmm. In a text message, Mr. Bewick had told her that a barefoot clown was his worst nightmare.
Pussy. I mean, clowns are weird, but I don't get the whole fear thing.
I don't.
I mean,
And, you know, I like clowns. They always die last in Hitman.
I mean, okay. I guess they look kind of grotesque and shit, and they are weirdly happy. But I don't know. I've never understood the whole "I'm pathologically afraid of clowns" type thing. Spiders, I get. They have too many legs. Fuck them.
The barrister then read aloud the defendant's text message to Mr. Bewick, which read, I don't think about males unless said male is strapped up and being used as a human sacrifice. You should be grateful you are not part of it. But then he became part of it.
It'd be funny if, like, while he was reading it, you heard the sound and, excuse me, Mr. Juror, stop masturbating.
Mr. Bewick, a fantasy novelist, was left with life-threatening injuries after his attacker plunged a knife twice into his chest.
This sounds like an interesting book.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space was already done.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space meets fucking porn.
Yeah.
Torture porn.
Well, the one of the movies in the series, they had the female clowns that could grow their boobs like to the size of planets, pretty much.
I'm still waiting for my control time cube porn, Jim.
Mm-hmm. Early in the hearing, Adams claimed she could not remember stabbing her occasional lover, saying the attack was brought on by him kissing her neck, as he had a pillow over his
so I
head.
had to stab you.
I did stab him, but I overreacted. We had a nice romantic time. He kissed my neck and it felt good, so I stabbed him.
That's someone I love.
Dismissing the evidence found on her mobile phone as a joke.
It,
Mr. Bewick had written and published his own dark fantasy novel called Ascendance. Ascendance. Blah. It was a topic they shared an interest in. She had been given a copy of the book, which quotes the female character saying, I knelt on Greg's chest with my blade positioned carefully at his heart.
ooh.
Maybe he was actually in on it, but then was freaked out because, oh my god, I might actually die.
Well, maybe, I mean, it could have just been, that could have just been something, and then she took it a little too far, and, oh God.
Yeah, maybe she read into it too much and said, he wants to die. I'll help him.
If you're wondering out there, psychopathic women, I don't want to die yet. Or at least want to get this show successful. Then, after I've lined up a successor, you know, whatever happens, happens.
Adams claims she never read it and told the court she had no idea why police found a record on her phone of a search about the sentence for attempted murder.
That's an interesting thing to search.
I don't know why that was on my phone.
I have no idea why. It's magic. Elves.
The charge she originally faced. The judge dismissed her version of the events, siding with the now 18-year-old Mr. Bewick, and sentenced her on Wednesday. Honestly, I think the judge made the right call to throw out her shit. Just saying, because that's obvious she just kept lying through her teeth to try to avoid anything.
Oh yeah, but wouldn't you?
No, because I'd be looking for less time. The more hassle you give the court, the greater your chances are of more time.
Well, 11 years isn't that much. If she comes out, we should get her on the
I would have
Swine.
tried knocking it down to probation.
I don't think you can get probation for that. I think there's sort of a. But 11 years isn't that much. I mean, after she comes out, we'll get her on the Swine Brothers as our new co-host.
And then you will die.
Yeah, right. On air. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Isn't that every man's dream to die on air?
Woman fined after urine sample damages 7-Eleven microwave, police say.
Whoopsie.
So sexy. A Denver woman was cited Thursday for allegedly causing damage to a 7-Eleven store's microwave oven when she tried to heat a urine sample, authorities said. No. Okay. If you need to heat the urine sample, you strap it to your inner leg. It just takes a couple pieces of tape.
Yeah, your body temperature is 98 point something degrees.
You don't microwave it because then it can get too hot and it'll raise red alert to everyone. If you really need the clean piss, just put it in a fucking bottle and keep it strapped near your leg and let it sit there for a few hours and it will rise to your body temperature, which is exactly what you need.
You could also get a clean pee mail ordered to you.
Well, you have to heat it up because they do check the temp.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you go to actual stoner outlets, some of them offer like this thing that like it's called the Whizzinator, and you could put piss in there and use it to fake your fucking piss tests.
Yay!
Or you could eat a shit ton of niacin pills, vitamin, just straight niacin, and sure you'll itch like hell. But this is like if you got like a day to do so, only one day before the test, just eat like about 6 times the recommended dosage for niacin, and it comes out your system. At least I think that's what I used, and it came out clean.
Welcome to Swine Brothers Advice Central.
Yes.
We're here to help.
Yeah, if you really need to pass the drug test, here's what you do.
Or if you're tired of the drug test, what you do is, the boss says, okay, it's time for the drug test, and then you just whip it out and piss in their face.
A store clerk reported seeing the suspect, identified as Angelique Sanchez, 26, place something in the Aurora, Colorado store's microwave before hearing a loud bang seconds later, citing an Aurora police officer. Yeah. The clerk reportedly told Sanchez to clean up the mess or she would alert police. Sanchez then wiped the microwave onto the floor with napkins and left. Well, that's where you fucked up. If you would have done a proper job and not left a mess behind after you cleaned, quote unquote, they probably wouldn't have called the cops.
Yes, that was a dumb thing to do.
The the clerk then called police and told them she noticed yellow liquid dripping from the microwave and the smell was unquestionably urine. Police later found Sanchez about half a mile away at a health clinic where she was waiting to undergo a physical exam and urinalysis for a potential job, according to the report.
This is not someone I would hire.
Yeah, she can't even fake a piss test right.
Yeah, I would hire Zoe, but not her.
One of the quality check measures for urine screening involves making sure the sample is at body temperature or around 98.6 degrees. Yes, I told you that.
Yes.
And remember, it's got to be really close to your groin region whenever you tape it there, so that way it gets all your groin heat, so that way it heats up to the proper temp. It usually passes.
Yes. We're here to help.
Sanchez reportedly told police that she had cleaned up the mess and did not understand the problem.
I cleaned up the mess.
Microwave.
I'm tripping out right now, so I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I cleaned up the mess.
When I reminded her that urine blew up where people prepare their food, she told me it was not real urine.
It's lemon. Yeah.
I just love that when I reminded
Really
her
stinky.
that urine blew up in the where people prepare their food. She told me it was not real urine.
It was really bad lemon.
The officer said she issued Sanchez a summons for damaged property after informing her the microwave was worth $500. Trust me, any business that has a microwave, it's going to cost a hell of a lot
Yeah.
more because they use the industrial kind
Yeah.
that does things quick as opposed to the shit at home.
Yep. Yeah. You don't want to break something like that.
Sanchez was not allowed to take the drug test that day.
Probably because she's on drugs.
Yay, at Starbucks, it tastes like pot.
I want Starbucks that tastes like pot.
Ah, that was glorious.
Yes.
I think this is
Free,
a good
free
place.
Zoe Adams.
I don't know about all that, but it was definitely good hearing about
Oh,
this.
come on. She dressed up as a clown and stabbed her boyfriend. How could you not? You know, she did lie a lot. She's 19. When you're 19, you're shit scared. I remember being like fucking that age, and if I like had gotten in trouble, I'd fucking make up lies. It's only later that you realize that you shouldn't have said anything. Like in all seriousness though, that is what brought down the Norwegian black metal scene. Was everyone who was taken to court was like 20 years old. They had no experience. So when the lawyer said, or they're thinking, well, I can get away with it by saying this. Vikernes was good enough that he didn't say anything. But most people would admit that they fucked up.
Oh
When you're
yeah.
19, you're freaked out. You think you know everything, that you can talk yourself out of it. Which is now I know everything. I can talk myself out of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Mm,
yeah.
I just gotta show this real quick.
What are you showing?
So people will see. I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
do this for me. Ah, yes, the killer clown, John Wayne Gacy. Well, we just had to get the mug shot and him dressed up as a clown. Gotta love it.
Yes. All right. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay. This has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 146 for May 7th, I think, 2018. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can email us at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers. Twitter is SwineBro666. For the killer clown from outer space, that's the Jim. I am apparently the guy who does shit. I'm Elliot Lindenwood, your host. We'll see you when we see you.
I'm an atheist. You are not even real, bitch. I'll cut you. I'm Jesus.
What?